The Denison Big Red are off to a 5-0 start, and on this Saturday night, the 15th ranked Wittenberg Tigers are here in Granville at Deedsfield Piper Stadium as the Big Red looking for a big statement win and perhaps get some national attention and move into the national rankings. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Denison Big Red Football on the Denison Sports Network. I'm Will Hibbert alongside my partner Alex Kaufman. And Alex, last week the Big Red went over to Hiram and were able to get out a pretty tough 14-point win, 33-19. You were actually at that game, so let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was at that game because I was up in Cleveland for the ALDS, so I thought, got to catch some Big Red football on Saturday night. And it was exciting, but it was a little scary early on. Big Red down 13-0 after the first quarter, some fumble troubles, down 19-7 at one point, and it felt like it was going to be one of those Murphy's Law where everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and it did start off like that. It happened 2 years ago at Hiram, but the Big Red, different story this time as they were able to come back, scored 26 unanswered, had a big fourth quarter that was able to get them a 33-19 victory, and that's how they should be beating a team like Hiram, but wasn't exactly one of those that was never in doubt, for sure.
That game was highlighted by 3 touchdown receptions from David Weimer, giving him 7 on the season. And now, Alex, let's go ahead and look forward to tonight. Once again, folks, Wittenberg, the number 15 team in the D3 land, is here in Granville. And when you look at the all-time series, it's not in the favor of the Big Red, but things are certainly changing this season.
We're not going to talk about that right now, though. We are only worried about what's going to happen here in about 5-6 minutes kickoff. That's what we're really worried about here. Both teams are 5-0. Wittenberg ranked 14th in the most recent coaches poll, 15th in the other poll. There are a couple D3 football polls. The Big Red in the others receiving votes category thus far. Wittenberg did win last year's contest, but this is the 78th matchup all time. This series dates back to 1901. We're really concerned right here. 2016, getting that W. Big Red 6-0 start will be the first time in forever, about 30-ish years for the Big Red to get that kind of start, and it really could give them some momentum in terms of getting into the polls and getting into the poll discussion.
And Alex, I was able to talk with Coach Jack Hayden once again this week, and I asked him, what do we need to do to win? What do we need to be great at to beat this Wittenberg team? And he said, well, Will, we need to be who we are on offense and defense. We can't make mistakes. He stressed we have to win the turnover battle, had to play well on special teams. He kept the answer pretty general because there's not much he can complain about with a 5-0 start. And he was able to speak to Wittenberg's program under Coach Joe Fincham. They've done an absolutely fantastic job. Coach Fincham with 181 wins now in his tenure. And this is certainly going to be a big test. Coach Hayden said this game isn't just another game. There's a little something extra on this one.
Definitely. Of course, the Big Red, they are calm this year. They are ready to go. This is a team with a lot of returning players, a lot of talent. And the freshmen that are involved who have not been in a game like this before, they are very good, high-quality players.
And the lights are on here in Granville, the national anthem underway, and we're going to step aside for just a moment on the Denison Sports Network. When we come back, it'll be time for Denison Big Red Football. Don't go anywhere, folks. I'm Will Hibbert alongside Alex Kaufman. You're listening to Denison Big Red Football on the Denison Sports Network. Welcome back to Big Red Football on the Denison Sports Network. The Big Red have won the toss. They elected to defer to the second half, and they will defend the east end zone, so on the right side of your screen. And as the Denison Big Red prepared to take the field, Alex, here at Deedsfield Piper Stadium, you can just feel the excitement in the air.
Oh, definitely. A pretty good turnout here from this crowd. You know, sometimes students are a little late arriving, but that is not the case here tonight. They know this is a big one, a clash of the Titans, quite honestly.
And Alex, now that the Cleveland Indians game is over, they've got no reason to be on those TVs. They can come right on down and watch.
Exactly. I know. I mean, I had to wait until the end of an inning just to get here for the broadcast. I was prepping in my room, and then I was like, oh, look at the time. But, I mean, you got to watch Andrew Miller pitch. But, of course, the Indians, now that game's over, full, undivided attention on this Big Red football team, hoping they can get themselves a win, just like the Indians did earlier today.
It'll be the Big Red kicking off to Wittenberg, and the Wittenberg offense and sophomore quarterback Jake Kennedy will be taking the field. Dennison in there home red helmets, red jerseys, red pants. Wittenberg in the all-white road unis.
You know, based on that uniform, you would really think Denison's the Big Red.
You can say that again, Alex. And it looks like back deep to receive for Wittenberg is going to be number 1, Jeff Tiffner. I believe I'm seeing number 26, Nick Kendall. These numbers aren't the most favorable in the lights, but if we get another number, we'll get you that, folks.
It's honestly like these jerseys were made like opposites completely. Everything that's red on Denison's jersey is white on Witt's. Everything that's white on Witt's is everything that's red on Witt's is white on Denison's.
Conor Dunn prepares to kick things off for the Big Red. And we are underway on this Saturday night matchup, a low kickoff. And it's going to be fielded by Kendall at about the 10-yard line, crossing the 20 out to the 25, and he's stood up right there. And now we can confirm that is number 26, Nick Kendall, and Jake Kennedy in the Wittenberg Tiger offense will go to work 1st and 10.
Alex Mackin and Sam Ray getting him down there. Kind of interesting to start off with a little bit of a squib kick, but that can make it a little bit easier preventing the very long returns that can happen from time to time. Of course, usually you see that when Denison is returning kicks as opposed to their opponents.
We actually saw that a couple weeks ago, Alex, as Tim Shadowan for Ohio Wesleyan almost took one back, none other than Conor Dunn made the touchdown-saving tackle. And now that Kennedy and the offense are ready to go, they'll line up in the shotgun 1st and 10. On the play action, 1st down, they're going to take a shot down the field. He's got his man, and the catch is going to be made all the way down to the 35 of the Big Red. Number 17, Luke Landis, the senior wide receiver, makes the grab, and Wittenberg is on the move early.
That was a nice play by Wittenberg. Landis listed at 6 foot. Joel Lahua, who was covering him, listed at 5'9". That's a lot of inches right there. That is 3 big inches, and you can see the difference there. Joel trying to get a hand up in there, but was unable to.
40 yards on the first play from scrimmage for the Tigers. 1st down and 10. Run goes straight up the gut. Number 2, Deshaun Sarley, the sophomore running back on the carry. Gets about 3 or 4.
Nick Kendall and Deshaun Sarley, the 2 big backs in terms of rushing yards for the Tigers. Jake Kennedy also gets his fair share of yards on the ground.
2nd down and 7. Kennedy will throw, rolling out to his left. And he plants it right in the chest of his receiver, Jeff Tiffner, and he's all the way down inside the 5 of Denison. Alex, this Wittenberg offense is finding some holes early.
Man, they showed up, Wittenberg did. Thus far, I mean, Tiffner also evading a couple tackles to get some yards after catch, but my goodness, I don't think the defense for Dennison has been backed up like this at any point this season, and it's happening within the first minute or 2 so far.
Tigers went no huddle. They'll pull back out to get a new play call. Wittenberg down to the Denison 3-yard line, just a minute and a half underway here from Deeds Field. As Kennedy will roll it to the right on the keeper, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Wittenberg. Kennedy got his blocks on the right side of the line, a relatively easy scamper, and just like that, it's 6-0 Wittenberg.
Not how you want to start out if you're the Big Red. Hoping to just build up some confidence for the defense, get a couple stops, because the last thing you need is that offense for Wittenberg getting on the board, because it's very difficult to score on the Tigers.
Number 92, Will Gingrey, out to attempt the extra point, the lefty kicker. Good snap, holds down, and the kick is up, and it is perfect. 1 minute and 34 seconds in, Wittenberg's already on top 7-0. I don't want to talk about game trends this early on, but it looks like the Big Red defense was just overmatched there.
Yeah, the Big Red swarm, they were getting swarmed, quite honestly. That was not a pretty possession to start out the game, but on the bright side, now the Big Red getting the ball back. Now they have an opportunity to move their offense down the field and maybe build up some confidence, give the defense a chance to breathe and take in everything.
Alex, we normally see against the Big Red, and usually across college football, teams will try to start their offense on the ground, get some rhythm going. Not the case with Wittenberg. They went straight to the air. Luke Landis, a 40-yard reception on the first play from scrimmage, and Wittenberg picked up right where they left off. scoring in just, I believe, 4 plays, and it's already 7-0. And now the Wittenberg kickoff team will line up. Will Gingrey will kick it away. Back deep for Denison is Charlie Mueller and Joel Lahua. And we saw Will Gingrey get some kickoffs before the game. He's got quite a foot, a couple of 50-yard field goals on the season. And the Big Red returners know it as they're lined up in their own end zone. Now Denison will get ready for its first possession. Lahua will field this one from the 2-yard line as he's crossing the 20 and gets right about there before he's hit. So Denison will line up at the 22 as Kanan Gabley, the reigning NCAC Offensive Player in the Week, and company will take the field, and it'll be 1st and 10 Big Red.
I mean, Gabley, he had 419 yards of total offense last week at Hiram. He also threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for another, and he's leading the conference in rushing touchdowns. Second time this season he's been named Conference Offensive Player of the Week, and deservedly so. He puts on a clinic under center every Saturday night.
Denison lighting up in their traditional spread offense as Gabley out of the shotgun is going to throw on first down, and it's complete to his man David Carter. Carter lunging forward to make the catch, gets about 6-7 yards, and it'll be second down and 3 rather.
Those are the type of plays that Denison was not making as much of last week. Hiram was leaving those guys open, but Kanan was looking to run at times. He was looking for the deep ball. Those little mid routes, the ones that'll get you a few yards here and there, they're not the flashiest plays, but they keep you driving downfield.
Offensive coordinator Austin Holter for the Big Red has got quite the task on his hands. Wittenberg third in the nation in scoring defense. There's another completion. Out to the right, that's Matt I. Marino, and that's going to be a Big Red first down. As I was saying, Alex, the Wittenberg defense allowing just 8.8 points per game, stifling many different offenses. So the Big Red will have quite the challenge tonight.
And that's the third fewest in all of Division III. There are hundreds of schools in Division III. To be third in anything is extremely impressive. And that Wittenberg defense, they're not going to allow a ton of points, so you do not want to be making mistakes anywhere.
3 wide receivers off to the left. And Denison will go to the ground. It's Gabley scrambling out to the right. He'll get past the line of scrimmage and actually gets about 5 yards out of it. Looked like Gabley was perhaps tackled for a loss. He evaded and made a positive play out of it. It's about a gain of 4 or 5, second down and 6.
That's something Gabley does really well. He does look to run, and I don't want to criticize him for it. He has run the ball. He ran the ball 30 times last week at Hiram. But Gabley, what a lot of those rushes are is he's just evading. He's evading tacklers, and instead of making maybe a bad throw or a bad decision throw or throwing it out of bounds, he uses his feet and is able to usually pick up a few yards as opposed to going down or getting no gain on an incomplete pass.
Gabley will throw this time, but he decides to put it down and run, and Wittenberg was all over that one. Looked like the ball might have come out on that one, but he'll be marked down or a Denison recovery. As Denison will keep the football, but it looks like Kanan Gabley lost the lid on that one, so Tommy I. Marino, the senior backup QB, will come in. He'll get his snap in by rule, and it'll be 3rd down and 7.
And I. Marino, quality quarterback. He himself a one-time NCAC Player of the Week on offense. He's pretty good. The Big Red have a lot of quarterbacks on this roster, and a lot of them are better than most quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks for other teams in the conference.
You said it, Alex. Coach Hayden has said before that Tommy has handled it like, quote, a champion in every way, helping this sophomore quarterback Gabley learn the system. Marino goes over middle, caught, complete. Charlie Mueller amongst traffic, 3 white jerseys in the area, and Mueller is pumped. Denis is starting to move the football just like Wittenberg. It's 1st and 10 Big Red.
You come in for one play, you get a completion, you move the sticks. I don't think that could have gone better right there for the Big Red.
And like you said, Alex, Marino with the experience and the confidence, a lot of backups come in and just hand the ball off. Not the case. Marino threading the needle over the middle. Charlie Mueller stuck his nose in there, made the catch amongst 3 Wittenberg defensive backs, and now Kanan Gabley back in.
And that's trust from the coaching staff, truly.
Gabley with some protection, going to take a shot downfield. It's caught. David Weimer. He's inside the 20-yard line of Wittenberg and inside the 10. Wittenberg's going to take some shots, and so are the Big Red. The Big Red all the way down to the 9, about the 8 of Wittenberg. Another first down.
And that catch puts David Weimer over 500 receiving yards on the season already. This is just the 6th game of the year. And really, you thought losing Dushawn Brown last season, Big Red would be struggling a little bit for receivers. But you know what? David Weimer's picking up a lot of that slack. He's the go-to guy on offense, Coach Hayden said. And he's really a fantastic athlete, having a great year.
On first down, Gabe trying to find some room up the middle. Can't really find much. Gets about a yard or two. It'll be second down. This looked like a pretty good idea by Gabe. Not many people home in the middle of the secondary, but that big defensive line of Wittenberg held strong, and it'll be second down. Remember, I told you, Alex, earlier I was actually in the athletic center before the game. I see the Tigers come in their sweatsuits with their bags, and they've got some big guys. Certainly, you can understand why they have so much success. Size is a big part of it. Second down and 7 from the 7. Gabley looking to throw. He's going to go towards the end zone. It's complete down to about the 2 or the 3. And that's going to be Matt Imerino on the reception. Nice grab by Imerino. Sets up a key third down.
Now, Wittenberg defensively, they do not blitz a ton, but they will look to blitz once now the Big Red are in the red zone. I was talking with one of the team captains, offensive lineman Drew Gray, about that. He said that they aren't super big. They're not. They're big. Don't get me wrong here. They are big, just like you said, Will, but they are not overly big. But they are fast and athletic, and they are going to play hard every single down.
Gabley under center in the goal line offense, takes a shot at the end zone, and that's going to be caught for the touchdown. What a catch by C.J. Davis, the tight end. He might have gone up there with one hand to grab that one. What a catch amongst 2 defenders. Dennison has a touchdown of their own. It's 7-6.
That is an impressive highlight play for C.J. Davis. Davis is an important part of the offense. He's the starting tight end, and he does a lot of good blocking and things. He had 1 catch last week, but you know what? He has 1 catch here now, and that is an important catch. Because right now it's tied.
Now it's officially tied as Conor Dunn boots the extra point through. Alex, credit to the offensive coordinator Austin Holter, head coach Jack Hayden. Wittenberg comes into your home field. They might have shocked you on the first drive. A quick 4-play sprint down the field, and the Big Red just come right back at him and throw a punch. A drive with a lot of quick throws by Kane and Gabley, a lot of throws in traffic. The Big Red showing they're not afraid, and Coach Jack Hayden said, this is a huge game for us. We want to make a statement. We want to prove that we can beat the elite teams. Denison is 16-3 in their last 19 games, but Coach Hayden was quick to point out none of those 16 are against Wittenberg or Wabash, the 2 heavyweights in the NCAC, and he said that this is perhaps the biggest game of the season.
It really is. I mean, this is one where if the Big Red are 6-0, that would be the first time in a long time. They very well could be ranked, and it would be ending a long losing streak against Wittenberg. It would be very exciting for it to happen here tonight. And right now it's tied. It's a new game.
Dunn boots it away, and this time it's a good one. And it sends Kendall back near his own goal line, gets across the 20 to the 25, and he's hit right there. Looked like Alex Mackin delivering the hit.
Once again, Mackin doing his part on special teams. Mackin, integral part of this team. You may not see it all the time on the field. He doesn't play all the plays, but he does a lot of good stuff on special teams, and there's a reason he's the guy running out first when the team comes out on the field with the American flag in tow.
Exactly right, Alex. And Alex Mackin on the offense lines up at the H-back position, doesn't really handle the ball all that much, but uses a blocker quite often. And now the Wittenberg offense will go to work, and there's a big hole up the middle, and that's going to be good for a first down. Deshaun Sarley straight up the gut. Gets about 12 or 13. Pretty nice hole right there from the offensive line. And it looks like Wittenberg will try to go to the no huddle once again.
And Hiram was doing that a lot last week as well. Not for as much success, but Wittenberg with some more talent, some more high-quality, high-motor players on their team. They're going to take advantage of any and every hole that they see. And they just took advantage of one right there.
The Big Red defense should make it a priority to try to slow down this offense a little bit early on as Kennedy on the play action back to pass. He's going to tuck it and run, dumps it off to his running back, Sarley makes the catch, and I'm not sure that's going to get them anything, and it won't. It officially goes for no gain. Pretty tough position right there for Sarley, whether to let it drop or catch it, because he was going to go nowhere once he caught that ball, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
And Kennedy, I think he might have gotten a couple yards, and he just kept holding on to the ball and just slid.
You know, I think so too, Alex. That was a pretty Kane and Gable-esque right there. But Kennedy elected for the late dump off. And this time it'll be Sarley once again, tries to bounce it to the right. Nothing doing. The Big Red stands him up. It'll be 3rd and long. We're starting to see some of that physicality on the Big Red defensive line. And Coach Hayden talked about that quite a bit, as last season the 5-0 Big Red went to face the 5-0 Tigers. Wittenberg was all over that game. They won 45-14, and Coach Hayden really said it was all about matchups, as Wittenberg was older and more physical, especially in the offensive skill positions. Crowd starting to make some noise on 3rd down and 7, as Wittenberg lines up with 3 wide receivers. Kennedy looking to throw, force left. And he's going to be close to the 1st down, but it looks like the Big Red have stopped him.
Give some credit to Zach Neufeld there. He was the one who got back and really was forcing Kennedy to get out of the pocket and to start scrambling.
It'll be 4th down, and Wittenberg is going to send on the punt team.
Something that did not happen last year, panicking. Wittenberg was not panicking in last year's matchup. Right there, Jake Kennedy definitely panicking.
It looked actually to be like a pretty good result could have came out of it, but the Big Red secondary was able to stay home and come up. And like you said, Alex, Zach Neufeld coming from his defensive end position as Gingrey puts a high punt around the 15-yard line. It takes a Wittenberg roll all the way down to the 10, almost to the 9. So a good job by the Wittenberg punt team, and Dennison will be pinned back deep, but not before the Big Red defense holds the Tigers and the Denison Big Red have a chance to take their first lead.
That was a definite confidence booster for the defense. I mean, they got shredded on that first possession. No other way to put it. But they came back and they showed up. Took them a possession, but they were there, and they were able to stop the Tigers.
Quite the adjustment right there. And Coach Adam talked last week. Defensive coordinator Bert Bathiani made quite a bit of adjustments at halftime. He said he actually had to, quote, throw his game plan away. Well, whatever game plan the Big Red had on the first drive, that one was thrown out, and the new game plan is working. As Gabe on 1st down throws outside, complete to Charlie Mueller. Looks about 7 or 8 yards on that one, as it looks like Denison is going to the air early and often with a lot of quick, short routes.
Mueller now with 2 catches today, just had 7 coming in. And I was talking about this earlier today, just in conversation, just talking about how good and how deep this receiving core is for the Big Red. A guy like Charlie Mueller, very talented, also returns kicks. Doesn't necessarily get a ton of targets, but he makes the most of the targets he gets.
2nd and 4, as Denison will go to the ground. That's Cody Farley up the middle. Looks to be near the 1st down marker, but a penalty flag is down, thrown immediately following the snap. Looked like Kanan Gavely was a little slow to get up there, but he looks to be okay upon handing the ball off to Farley.
Yeah, Gavely got pinned down like a wrestling move from Chandler Furco, number 95 from Wittenberg, who went through there, and I mean, he just picked up Gavely and threw him down.
And it turns out it was actually a free play for the Big Red as Wittenberg jumped off sides. So it'll be a 1st down for Denison as they still sit at their own 21. As the first penalty flag of the game flies. 5 wideouts and an empty backfield for the Big Red. Perhaps Gabe will try to show off the arm on 1st down. From the shotgun, he's going to show off the legs. He'll take it right up the middle. Pretty good job by Wittenberg right there as another helmet comes off from the Big Red. It'll be 2nd down, and I think once again that's Kanan Gabely's helmet. So
somebody on the sideline's going to need to tighten it up.
Perhaps the equipment staff might have a little bit of work to do on that one. But now with Gabely out of the game,
Tom Amarino getting another opportunity under center.
Here's Imarino. He trots out. Perhaps Marino might have to be on notice for the rest of this game unless Kanan Gable can get himself a new lid. Another 3 wideout set to the left for the Big Red. Farley, the running back. They'll get it to him. He spins outside left, but doesn't get much after that. Maybe a yard or two. It'll be 3rd and about 7 or 8 for the Big Red.
That was a nice move to keep the play alive by Farley.
Here comes Gabley. With an empty backfield, the Big Red are showing that no matter if it's a run or a pass, Kanan Gabley is going to be making this play. We've seen him do it plenty of times this season. 4 wideouts to the right. As Gabley back to throw, hits his man David Weimer, and he looks like he's going to have the first down. Alex, I don't think David Weimer knew that ball was coming until it was right on top of him, but he still made the catch.
No, that throw a little bit behind Weimer from Gabley, but Weimer's that good of a receiver. He was able to adjust in the moment, catch the ball, hold on to it, and get the first down. And the Big Red, they've been very good on 3rd downs. They entering this game 4th in Division III with a 55.4% 3rd down conversion rate. That's more than half. That's just impressive. You just keep drives alive, you keep going, and if you can get a new set of downs, that really can make a difference.
Coach Hayden attributed that success a lot to the wide receiving core as Gable is going to try to go deep down the field. Laying out is David Weimer. He can't make the catch, so the Big Red pulling some aggression out of that playbook. They tried to go for it all on 1st down. And you like to see that throw out of Gabley because at least it was in a spot where only his man could get it. Overthrew him just a bit at 2nd and 10. Going back to that point on the 3rd downs, what Coach Hayden said was, quote, we've got about 6 or 7 guys that need to be respected in the wide receiving core. He did point out, he said, yeah, David Weimer is the guy catching a lot of balls and a lot of touchdowns, but he's not the only guy out there. And he has kind of filled the role of the Dushan Brown assignment as Josh Shackelford trying to bounce it outside. Not much room for him. A whole swarm of Wittenberg Tigers are there. Maybe a yard or 2 for Shackelford.
You wonder if the Tigers' game plan for that. Shackelford just coming in for that play. He's kind of been used in spot duty at times, usually with a little more success than that, but the Tigers definitely sniffed that one out pretty quickly. As now David Carter will come in.
Each team scoring on their first possession. If you're just joining us, we're tied at 7, about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Dennison just forced a Wittenberg punt, and now it's 3rd and 10 as the Wittenberg defense starting to stand up a little bit. Gabley rolling out to the right, going to take a shot down the field. That's complete to David Weimer. He's all the way down to the Wittenberg 23-yard line. Alex, it doesn't matter where Weimer is on the field. The ball just seems to find him, and he makes the catch every single time, and that's a huge play from Kanan Gabley.
Definitely, and you mentioned Gabley. He threw that ball perfectly. Only Weimer could have caught it, and he did. Now the Big Red in the red zone once again. It'll be very interesting to see if Denison can convert once again with their red zone offense.
And Alex, I think Kanan Gabley didn't have any helmet troubles there, but nonetheless, Tommy Imerino is going to get the snap on 1st down. And he's going to hand it off to his running back, Cody Farley, and he stood up at the line of scrimmage, perhaps even a loss. So I think we can say, Alex, early on that if you're going to have a lot of success against Wittenberg, it's got to be through the air. We haven't seen Cody Farley or Josh Shackelford being able to break much off Gabley either.
No, I mean, Wittenberg only allows about 72 rushing yards per game. That's not very many. Especially
That's not very many.
No, and Kanan Gabley, he runs the ball a lot, so he's going to really have to become a passer, quite honestly.
He'll be a passer on this play on 2nd and 10 as he dumps it off to Farley. He's got some blockers. He's inside the 5. Reaching for the pylon, doesn't quite get there. Looks like he's right about down to the 2-yard line. So a nice offensive scheme right there by offensive coordinator Austin Holter. And the Big Red are deep in the Wittenberg red zone once again.
Dustin Holmes, one of the top 2 tacklers on this Wittenberg team, preventing that touchdown for the Big Red.
Gabe will go under center in the red zone set. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Handoff goes to Cody Farley, straight up the gut. He is in. Touchdown, Big Red. The Big Red give up 6 very quickly. They've come back for 2 scores, and they want to show Wittenberg who's boss early. They've done it. It's 13-7.
And that right there, Denison, they are here to play, and their 5-0 is a legitimate 5-0. There's been some shade thrown by Wittenberg a little bit, trying to discount the Big Red, saying they didn't play any good opponents, and at Wittenberg, their defense is really good, only allowing 8.8 points per game. Still a good defense, don't get me wrong. Right now, the Big Red have 14. That's a lot more than 8.8, and it's the first quarter still, so.
I was going to say, Alex, there might be a few more points coming from the Big Red if we're lucky, as Conor Dunn makes the extra point. It's 14-7. Alex, I'm looking down at this crowd. There's a pretty doggone good crowd down here on this Saturday night.
They are really doggone good. They've done very well. They've been loud pretty much constantly, and that's what you need, because Wittenberg over from Springfield, not too far of a trip, they have a pretty large contingent, almost filling up those visitor bleachers across the way. They also brought some cheerleaders too, so you know their fans are going to be in it as well.
And Alex, that's what you want to see on these big Saturday night games. You want to see it played up to as much as it can be. And certainly the Big Red have played their game up as much as they can, as they're out to a 14-7 advantage. And that hungry Big Red defense looking to get back out there and perhaps get another stop. 1:38 left in the opening quarter, as Conor Dunn and his kickoff teammates line up. And he sends another one deep. This one might get back to the goal line, and it does. Fielded by Kendall. He's out across the 20, out across the 30 to the 35. So nice job there by Kendall. Not getting much farther than the touchback marker of the 25, excuse me. And Wittenberg will have decent field position this time around.
And Denison, their special teams, they really do a good job, I think. I mean, once again, Alex Mackin with the tackle there. But Conor Dunn, it's something I was talking with him about this, and it's something similar to how NFL kickers do it now that their touchback is the 25. It's the kickers, instead of kicking to the end zone or through the end zone, they're kicking higher kicks that end up between the 5 and the goal line that have to be taken back. You take it back for 20 yards, you're still not at the 25.
With those high kicks, you give your kickoff team a lot of time to get down there. And on first down, Jake Kennedy will barrel up the middle for 4 or 5. So, Alex, we saw Wittenberg come out guns a-blazing on the first drive. A 40-yard completion to Luke Landis on the first play from scrimmage. And then a quarterback keeper touchdown by Kennedy. But ever since, it looks like the Big Red have been the ones playing downhill on defense.
Of course, it's interesting, this possession for Wittenberg, because they haven't had to play from behind very much this year.
And Kendall will get the carry off to the left. Close to the first down, but he'll be marked short. Looks like to be about 3rd down and 1 coming up.
Big Red are really going to need to get some pressure, especially inside.
We talked about the matchup with Landis and Joel Lahua earlier. Now Lahua lined up across Jair Knox, a 5'10 receiver, so not quite the matchup that Wittenberg wants. They go to Knox, and none other than Joel Lahua hits him as soon as he catches it. It'll be 4th down and another Wittenberg punt.
Beautiful defensive game planning for the Big Red. They brought up a lot of guys, and they were ready for that play. And you saw Lahua up there, Andrew Baird also up, not back in coverage. And guess what? They stopped the Tigers, who are now going to have to punt.
Alex, I'd like to say that I knew that Joel was going to make that tackle, but nonetheless, as soon as Knox hit the ball, Lahua drove him backwards. And it looks like it's the end of the first quarter, so that's our stoppage on the field. Denison up 14-7. And Alex, outside of that first drive, I'd say it was all Denison in the first quarter.
You know, you wouldn't expect it going in. I mean, I'm just gonna say it right now. It may be a broadcaster jinx, but the Big Red have lost 22 in a row since 1989 to Wittenberg. But you know what? right here on the field, look, you know who looks like the better team? Denison does. Back-to-back possessions, stopping the Tigers right there. 3 and out on this possession. They're starting off the second quarter, receiving a punt, up by a touchdown. I don't think anybody predicted this because I thought they'd think we'd be much tougher, close game. But these two teams are 5-0 for a reason, and the Big Red, their 5-0 is no joke. Whether you want to bring up one of those stats, the fact that Denison's opponents this year are 4-17 combined. That shouldn't discount Denison. They're still 5-0. They have not been tripped up by anybody, and they're not getting tripped up by the Tigers thus far.
And Alex, another thing, Denison will get the ball to start the second half. As Gingrey puts the punt in the air, a spiraling punt takes a Wittenberg bounce at about the 20, and looks like this one will come to a rest right about the 10. So 2 punts in a row for Will Gingrey down to about the 10-yard line. And Kane and Gabley will head back out there as Denison looking to really put their foot down and make it a 2-score game.
But you know, for Denison, they've started other drives you mentioned. Pinned back pretty deep inside their own 20, inside their own 10 here. But if you get the other 90, it doesn't really matter. If you score 6, field position doesn't really matter as much because you're still scoring. And the Big Red up by a score here. Big opportunity with the offense coming back out on the field. Got to be feeling good right now.
And you're right, Alex. And field position means even less when you've got a quarterback who can do things with his legs and in the air like Gabley can. He'll swing this one out. That's going to be complete. Weimer with a little bit of a spin move, and he's going to be close to a first down. Weimer showing a little bit of finessing, as the football players like to call it. Put the spin move on the corner, and it looks like that's going to be good for a Big Red first down.
Those yards after catch can make a big difference. That, where Weimer caught that, may not have even been a gain. But he's able to use a blocker, use a spin move, and move the chains.
Weimer caught just 7 balls all of last year. And Coach Hayden said that could partly be attributed to Deshaun Brown getting a lot of the catches. And he actually spoke of Weimer saying, you know what, it's no surprise this guy's come onto the scene. Nearly intercepted on that first down throw. Number 18, Corey Dyringer, jumped in front. I think that was Ryan Roberts, the intended receiver. That was a pretty dangerous throw from Gabley, but it falls incomplete, second down.
And Cannon Gabley actually has not thrown an interception all season, which is impressive. He really hits his spots. He completes his passes. Very rarely do you see things like that where he's thrown into coverage and he's not thrown to an open guy.
This one goes out to the right. That's complete. Charlie Mueller tries to spin it upfield, gets a couple extra yards, and it looks like that's going to be close to another first down. And it will be. Alex, we've seen in the home games, Cannon Gabley's he's just mentally a smart player, and Coach Adam alluded to it. He said he's only a sophomore, but mentally he's really growing. He said that Cannon has been meeting with offensive coordinator Austin Holter on a regular basis. That's really helped him out. And whenever we see Cannon maybe make a bad throw or a throw that wasn't so smart, he just corrects it on the next play. And we got some movement on the line. Flags fly immediately.
At false start, the first penalty against the Big Red.
That one going against George Carson, the sophomore. Lining up at the right tackle position.
And, you know, I feel bad to bring it up now, but we don't give this offensive line enough credit. I'm running into Mike Carlin, actually, and he was like, did you announce my name on the broadcast? This was a few weeks ago, and it's like we only do it usually when they make penalties, but we shouldn't. They're really good, one of the best parts of this team.
Farley with a second effort up the middle. Gets himself about 8 yards.
In that game for Farley, you got to give an assist to the O-line there. Making good blocks. Holsley can run through, and he's able to get into the secondary and get a few extra yards.
And not only is this quite a talented offensive line, it's a fairly young offensive line, Alex, as last year the Big Red started 3 freshmen on the offensive line. Those guys are all back, and the experience has showed, as oftentimes Gabley has plenty of time to throw and plenty of holes to run through. As another 5 wide receiver set on 2nd and 8. Gabe, he feels the pressure, and he's going to take off and run across the 40. He's got the first down, out to the 43. Just when you think you have Kane and Gabe bottled up, he slips through, and he's gone for a first down.
Wow. Kane and Gabe, I thought he was about to get sacked. There looked like there were two white jerseys in the backfield just reaching out for him, and he felt it. Must have felt one of them brush on him, and he's like, I got to get out of here. And he ran.
So now Dennison out to their own 45-yard line. As C.J. Davis will line up alongside his quarterback and Farley in the backfield. On the play action, swings it out. There's Davis for his second reception of the game. And he's tackled for about a gain of 5 yards. Davis, his first catch of the game, a spectacular one-handed touchdown catch. And that time he does it the hard way with another 5-yard catch.
I don't know how you can actually scout this Dennison team, because it seems like right now tonight, everybody's catching passes. Oh, okay, so we'll get all the receivers, and maybe we'll put a little pressure on Gabe. Oh, wait, he can run too. So Wittenberg, I'm sure they had a great game plan going in, but right now they just need to tear it up and throw it away.
And there are still some players on the Big Red whose names haven't really been called, as Farley has stood up at the line of scrimmage right there. We haven't called Ryan Roberts' name. Alex Mackin hasn't handled the ball. Josh Shackelford hasn't broken one yet. There are plenty of weapons on this Big Red offense, and you're right, Alex. It seems like they don't run the same play twice in an entire game.
It's just impressive, truly. I mean, Denison right now up 14-7 on Wittenberg as Matt Amarino checks in. He's somebody who finally healthy. Good to see him on the field. He's undersized, but he is talented. He plays a lot bigger than his stature, listed at just 5'6", but you got to add a few inches the way he plays.
And there's another whistle, and it looks like the Big Red will be going backwards on another false start. Number 73, that's Andrew Zellers, the freshman out of Canton, Ohio. You're right, Alex. I kind of feel bad. We only announce them on penalties a lot. We've got to start looking for some blocks.
In the official stats, technically, Division III football, you don't put in individual penalties for things like that on the offensive line. No penalty actually goes in against an individual, but referees announce it, broadcasters announce it. What can you do sometimes, you know?
Gabley's got pressure coming. Tries to escape, just flips it up in the air, and he couldn't quite get it out of bounds, and it's picked off.
That is Kanan Gabley's first interception of the season. You can hear the defensive coaches for Wittenberg hooting and hollering up here in the press box. Very excited. That one was right near the sideline as Gabley was going down. That's one where you probably just have to take it. You just got to take the sack sometimes.
It didn't look like he was going to try to throw it away, Alex. It looked like he was trying to hit. I think that was Ryan Roberts deep down the sideline. He was being dragged down and tried to force it. And Corey Dyringer was able to tiptoe the sideline and make the catch. And that's a huge play for Wittenberg. Perhaps some momentum might be headed back their way as they've got the ball at their own 42. 10-16 left in the first half. Denison still up 14-7. Kennedy. Hands off straight up the gut. Absolutely nothing on first down.
Of course, do you want to give Gabe some credit before that pick? 158 passing attempts this season before his first interception. I mean, it's the sixth game of the season. You don't see that too often. Gabe Lee normally very smart, very high IQ under center, and so it's disappointing, but at the same time, it's not terrible field position, and the defense has shown they've been able to stop the Tiger offense thus far.
I think it'd be unfair of us, Alex, to not expect him to throw a single interception, but you know Kanan wants that one back. Second down, that one's complete. And that's going to be caught by number 4, Bryce Bailey, the junior wide receiver.
Alex Rayner out there a little bit. And it looked like he jumped up, thought he was going to be able to tip the ball, but that one placed very well by Kennedy.
So Wittenberg works their way into Denison territory. Set up at the 44. as Kennedy bounces out right, evades a couple tackles, and he's finally brought down right around the line of scrimmage. So nothing on first down for Kennedy. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Actually 2nd and 11. Kennedy given a loss on that one. Denison trying to keep that 7-point lead as we're inside 9 minutes to go in the first half. A little bit of a high snap from Kennedy. He'll pitch it to his running back, Jaheim Washington, and Washington gets about 5 yards. It was a high pitch from Kennedy, and Washington, who stands at 5'9", the 200-pound running back out of Naples, Florida, brought it down and was able to get 5 yards out of it.
Still 3rd down. Still, Big Red can still stop this here. It's just outside of field goal range, even for a guy like Gingrey. So this is very big. If they get the first, that's about the 34-yard line. That's almost his range, really.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Alex. Gingrey with 2 50-plus yarders on the season. And with the play clock running down and the crowd making some noise, Wittenberg's forced to take a timeout. That'll be their first charge timeout of the half. They'll have 2 remaining. So maybe Coach Joe Fincham saw something he didn't like out of the Denison defensive set. We were able to talk to Coach Hayden about whether he thought this would be a defensive struggle or maybe the offense would be throwing some punches. And he said, you'd be crazy to think that there'd be a shootout considering we've got 2 great defenses tonight. But there have been times when the offenses have been able to break off some big chunks of yards.
That first quarter was a shootout. This quarter has not been a shootout thus far, but 21 points scored in the first quarter, that doesn't sound like a defensive struggle to me.
Certainly a big statement game for both teams, as this is certainly the best team on Denison's schedule thus far. I'm sure Wittenberg can say the same. It's always great to see 2 great teams going at it under the lights. That's exactly what we have tonight at Deeds Field. It'll be 3rd and 5. Kennedy feels the pressure, rolls out to the left. He's going to try to scramble for it. Neufeld chasing, shoves him out of bounds, and I don't think he got there. He did not. It'll be 4th down.
Impressive job by the Denison defense once again on 3rd down. You know, they got to be ready. Think about it. They're playing all week against an offense that is one of the best in Division III at converting 3rd downs. So when you are playing an offense that's not as good on 3rd down, yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. You're going to stop them, and they're going to be forced to punt.
Will Gingrey, who handles the kicking and punting duties, will be dropping this one down and sending it away, as it looks like Cody Farley's lining up. And I think we've got a penalty flag down. As number 7, Terrence Crow, the senior linebacker, whistled for his special team duties on the right side of that punt protection line. That'll back Wittenberg up another 5 yards. Perhaps a blessing there, as they'll have a little bit more room for Gingrey to try to place this ball if he so chooses. Denison not really coming after it as Gingrey sends a high one down towards the goal line, and it will land in the end zone for a touchback. So after Kanan Gabley throws his first interception of the season, the Denison defense does its job once again and forces a punt, and Gabley will have another shot from the 25-yard line.
Not a huge net there for the Tigers, especially with that punt landing in the end zone. Gingrey, normally a lot better of a punter than that. Wittenberg coming in 2nd in Division III in net punting. Of course, that's going down a little bit there.
And it'll be from the 20-yard line, rather, for the Denison offense as they go back to that 5 wideout, no running back set. They feel confident in Gabley's arm due to the Denison coaching staff. And Gabley's going to let this one go over the middle, and David Weimer couldn't handle it, and that was almost interception number 2 on the season. as in on that play was Jack Kaser, the junior linebacker from Portsmouth, Ohio. He almost got his hands on that one. And that was another throw where it looked like it was just a little bit behind Weimer.
Of course, I think Gabley was expecting to run. I think he was planning on running, and then he looked up, checked down one more time, because he was right near the offensive lineman, and he had some running room too. But he saw Weimer, looked like he was open, but that was nice defensive coverage on the Big Red's leading receiver, and that forced the incompletion.
2nd down and 10. As the screen pass goes out to David Carter on the left side, he can't turn the corner and gets about a yard. Nice job right there by Wittenberg coming off the blocks from the wide receivers as Ryan Roberts was trying to push his man out. Couldn't quite do it. It'll be 3rd and long.
Very tough 3rd down here for Dennison. Haven't gotten anything going thus far on the drive, but they do well when it comes to converting 3rd down. So it's an opportunity for Dennison.
Gabley rolling right. Now goes back to the left. He might try to tuck this one. He will. Gets near the 1st down marker, but I don't think he got there. And the ball has come out. Wittenberg says they have it. No signal yet.
Looks like they're calling Gabley down before he lost the ball, a yard short of the marker.
Nonetheless, it will be 4th down for the Big Red.
Now David Weimer switching from wide receiver to punter.
So you're right, Alex. We saw a little bit of fireworks in the 1st quarter, but it's been an essential stalemate ever since Cody Farley punched in the 2nd touchdown of the game for the Big Red. High snap. Weimer corrals it. And not a great punt either, but it does take a Big Red bounce. And it takes a great roll, actually. So I'll take that back. It goes all the way down to about the 28-yard line of Wittenberg. Not too much distance on it, but Weimer spun it just the right way for a nice little punt.
I mean, it didn't look pretty, but it got the job done. That's what's important, right?
We look at Weimer's overall punting form, Alex. We don't see a lot of the big kicks of, say, most regular punters. He's just trying to place the ball.
Look at the difference here. Will Gingrey, when he punts the ball, it looks beautiful, spinning really well, looks nice, a lot of hang time. All I know is his last punt went in the end zone.
Kennedy going to go to the air on 1st down. High throw. And a nice job hanging on to that ball by number 11, Luke Bowling, and he's a little bit slow to get up. Looked like Bowling will go to the sideline after his first reception. As high throw, Bowling was able to make the catch and then sustained it through the contact, a gain of about 5 or 6 yards. As Kennedy now goes out to the left. As this time it's Bryce Bailey making the catch. And he gets just a couple. And it'll be 3rd down.
Worcester was doing a lot of short passes when the Big Red were hosting the Scots a few weeks ago. And you know what happened with that game? Dennison blew them out. Allowed to hold them just 7 points. And right now, doesn't seem to be working too well for the Tigers.
Alex, I'm not sure if we'll see any 28-point quarters in this one like we did on that Big Red weekend game. As we've got a little bit change in the secondary, Bryce Winans will come on for what I believe to be his first defensive action of the day. And I don't think the Big Red really need a 28-point quarter. They've already got 14. The defense has shown up. I think at this point, even though we're still in the first half, it's going to be who can show up late and get that big touchdown. And for Wittenberg, they just need one to get even. And got a little bit of a delay with the officials. Perhaps the spot of the ball.
They were announcing something, but I was talking and couldn't hear them, unfortunately. There was a penalty, that's what I thought, but looks like a 1st down, so disappointing for the defense. But you know what? Denison, they've been very good defensively since that first possession. I mean, just get that out of your mind. And ever since, they've had the better defense and better offense too.
The run goes up the middle to Sarley. Takes a big hit. Looked like that was number 47, Ryan McEwen, delivering the hit.
It was an offside penalty on the Big Red. But all I saw were subs coming in and out, so not entirely sure about that one, but regardless, now second down.
Might have been an issue of lining up in the neutral zone, as it'll be 2nd and 7. Sarley will get the ball once again, bounces it off to the left into the second level, and it looks like he's got a first down. So now Wittenberg starting to go to the ground a little bit, and Deshaun Sarley, as Sarley running downhill, gets a Tiger first down.
Seems like the first time that they've really broken a run today, the Tigers.
Neither team having all that much success on the ground thus far. As Jake Kennedy, the sophomore, rolls out to the right, feeling the pressure, and as a result, doesn't make that great of a throw. That was intended for number 81, Tyler Everidge.
Now I'll give you a surprising stat. That's the first incompletion of the day for Jake Kennedy.
Well, Alex,
he's had a lot of short passes,
me.
a few long ones, but that's actually just his 7th attempt, too, according to the live stats. Live stats never lie. You know that well.
That's exactly right. And I can kind of believe that, considering it was only a 4-play drive to start the game. As Kennedy dumps it off to Landis, and working his way through traffic, it's down to about the 48-yard line of the Big Red, and it'll be 3rd down and about a medium 4.
Tigers haven't spent too much time in Big Red territory thus far today. If the Big Red can get a stop here, they won't be spending much longer.
As they change the play at the line. As the play clock hits 10. Crowd trying to make their way into it, as that's going to be broken up, incomplete. That's a nice play right there from Lucas Gunkel. Tasked with the assignment of guarding Jeff Tiffner, the junior wideout. Gunkel able to get his hand in there and break it up. It's 4th down. Wittenberg will punt once again.
Just a great job on defensive coverage by Gunkel, getting a hand in there, making sure that would not be caught. And another punt.
It'll be David Carter lining up to return this one. We've seen Carter and Cody Farley back there tonight. A little bit of a low snap. Dennison came after this one, and Carter wisely calls for the fair catch, and he handles it at about the 11-yard line. So that time Dennison brought the heat, and Gingrey was able to put a pretty nice punt together, and it'll be, once again, from back deep in their own territory, Denison ball with a 7-point lead.
The Big Red, they have to be feeling pretty good right now. 3 minutes, 10 seconds away from the half. They're up by a score right now. They got their timeouts. They have a lot of opportunities. They can just drive downfield. They keep putting stuff together, and they've been, and I keep saying it again and again, the better team.
I'd certainly agree, Alex, and you're right, the Big Red can run off about as much clock as they want to, and running the ball is a good way to do it, and especially when you're running for first downs like that, as Kane and Gabe breaks it off to the left into the second level. It's a gain of 12 and a Denison first down.
The Big Red already around about 50 yards on the ground. Wittenberg only allows 73 per game as a team. We're not even at halftime yet.
Looks like Shackelford in the backfield. He will get the ball, tries to leap a defender, and pretty much does it. Josh Shackelford taking the ball up the middle, showing some speed, some power, a little bit of everything. And now the Big Red have moved the chains. It's first down.
Shaq, another one. Finally healthy, really able to make a difference. And Coach Hatem really pleased with the way that he is, with the amount of effort and hard work he has put in practice. And it's shown right there on the gridiron. He's breaking tackles. He is a strong individual. He doesn't mess around.
Shaq, the junior running back out of Ogden, Utah, as the Big Red go 4 wideouts to the right. And Cannon Gabley look to tuck it and run. He's brought down with a penalty flag. I don't know if this is a hold or maybe a little bit of a face mask pull. And it looks like Dennison thinks it's going in their favor.
And it does.
And we've gotten the signal. It's a face mask against Wittenberg. Chandler Furco called for the personal foul, and that's a big one, and that's 15 yards and an automatic first down. And now Denison's out to its own 40.
I believe an earlier Wittenberg penalty was also called on Furco earlier on the offsides on them.
I believe you're right, Alex. So
15 free yards. I don't know an offense that would not take those.
Cannon Gabley certainly will as he dumps it off to Shackelford on the screen. And a nice open field tackle made by number 51, Bobby Saul, the senior D lineman. It looked like Shackelford had some room to run, but Saul grabbed the shoestrings, and it's a game of about 6. And Denison will use its first time out of the half with 1:35 to go and out to its own 45-yard line.
Of course, the Big Red having all 3 timeouts for late in the half. They did not have that luxury close to halftime against Hiram last week, actually having to spike the ball with about under a minute left in order to get a couple more plays, maybe get a little closer for field goal range for Conor Dunn, as they took their last time out, so there would be about 2 seconds left, and Dunn was able to split the uprights right before halftime to give the Big Red 3 more points.
So the way that this game's been going, Alex, the ball not moving quite as well as it had been early on. For Conor Dunn, I'd say the Big Red need about 25 more yards before Dunn can realistically hit a field goal. But perhaps on first down, Gabley might try to let one go. As we see on the right side, Mueller and Roberts, 2 particularly deep ball threats, are lined up, and Weimer on the left. Empty backfield, so maybe Gabley might try to let one go. First down, he'll put a little air under this one, and he overthrew Weimer, and Weimer hits the deck. Some of the Denison sideline looking for a pass interference penalty, and I had certainly thought that as well, but it must have been incidental contact as Weimer was on the ground when the ball went over his head.
So that's what they call it now, incidental contact? I mean, I genuinely think, though, that was just contact. They just got a little tangled up. Nothing too crazy, nothing worth calling a penalty for. But Denison going aggressive there.
I mean, Alex, we are in 2016, and we still don't know what a catch is, so I think the terms are still evolving.
It's true.
Gabley rolling right, looking for Weimer, makes the grab, and he's able to get out of bounds. What a catch by David Weimer. Number 27, Jack Kaser, was all over that. It looked like that might even have gone through his hands. No room right there for Weimer. Makes the catch, first down, Big Red.
That's fortunate for Denison. Able to move the sticks. Get a little closer now into Wittenberg territory. You mentioned probably got to get to about the 30-yard line. Conor Dunn says that he can go into the high 40s for field goals. He says he wants an opportunity to maybe break that record. It's currently 47 yards for a field goal. Big Red would need to get to about the 30 there.
They're going to try to go past that mark. Charlie Mueller laying out. He can't hang on. Oh, boy, what a catch that would have been as he laid out at the 10. Just slipped through his gloves. It'll be second down. There's that first down aggression we talked about, Alex, as Gabley was looking for it all right there. Mueller couldn't quite hang on.
Big Red still, though, they've been very impressive today offensively. They keep moving the chains. They keep getting first downs, and they're driving downfield. They've had some big plays as well, and they're up for a reason.
Coach Adams said we need to dictate our offense against their defense, as that pass is incomplete. Looked like David Carter was the intended receiver, and he was. He's a little upset with himself on that one. And now the Big Red staring at a third down and 10. It's a little bit interesting to see what the Big Red will try to do here.
Denison 5 of 7 on third downs. Mentioned before, one of the best in Division III, and they're proving it right now, Wittenberg 0 for 4 on third downs. That, to me, has been the biggest difference. And is the reason that you can say the Big Red have been in control.
These are situations where Kanan Gabley likes to take off and run. And he will try to do just that on 3rd and 10, but Wittenberg is on top of it. Gabley's only able to get about 3 or 4 yards. It's 4th down. And with a 7-point lead at about the 45-yard line, we'll see what Denison tries to do. And Kanan Gabley is still out on the field, so Coach Hayden believes that this is 4-down territory, and it looks like he's going to wait to call a timeout.
Plus, with under a minute left, punting it, I mean, Wittenberg's not worth it at this point. Got a few seconds.
As the play clock inside of 5, Coach Hayden, there's the signal and there's the timeout. So with 31.6 left in the first half, Coach Hayden and his players will have a little bit of a chat.
You wonder if they may come back out now and punt the ball after the timeout, just seeing what their options are. But it definitely depends. This is one of those where even if you do Kaufman corner it down maybe inside their 10, you're only netting 35, maybe 40 yards. It's one of those where you can be aggressive because, I mean, there's still not that much time, and Wittenberg doesn't exactly have tons of timeouts.
And Alex, something we see sometimes, as now David Weimer's cut came out on the field, so all of our theories can be displaced. I'll go ahead and finish my point, however. Say the Denison offense were to come back out, a lot of teams will try to draw the defense off sides and then use a timeout, which Denison does have one left, but they've elected to send David Weimer out. And as you said, Kaufman corner this Wittenberg offense. Lining up at about the 10-yard line is Jeff Tiffner. He has a better snap this time. Weimer punts it towards the sideline. It's a good one, but doesn't seem to have too much distance. We'll see where it's marked. Pretty generous spot from the official right there. They'll mark it at the 12. I think that went out at more of the 16-17 area, but Denison will take it.
Definitely. I mean, 25 seconds. We've seen Wittenberg drive downfield, and they were very good at that on their first possession. Since then, they've been doing a lot of dinking and dunking, but they may not do anything here.
Looks like Wittenberg is going to try to take a knee and just take a 7-point deficit into the half. There's a snap. Kennedy kneels down, and Wittenberg will concede the 7-point deficit going into the half. So Denison against the 15th-ranked Wittenberg Tigers, defending their home turf literally in Deedsfield Piper Stadium, have come in and really shown Wittenberg that, number one, they're here to play. Number two, they're here to win.
And just some interesting stats at halftime. The Big Red have dominated in terms of having the ball. They have almost 100 more total yards than the Tigers do, and they've also run 15 more plays than Wittenberg. Big Red have had the ball, they've converted on third down, they've kept drives alive, and that's the reason they are up 14-7 at halftime with an important lead against another 5-0 team.
Once again, folks, a 7-point Denison lead heading into the half, and we will take a break here for halftime on the Denison Sports Network. We'll be back before the third quarter kickoff for some stats analysis and comments. It'll be Denison ball to start the second half. Once again, folks, you're watching Denison football on the Denison Sports Network. Alongside Alex Kaufman, I'm Will Hibbert. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the second half. All set for second half action between the Denison Big Red and the Wittenberg Tigers. And welcome back, everyone, to Denison football on the Denison Sports Network. Alongside Alex Kaufman, I'm Will Hibbert. A little bit of a showdown on offense in the first quarter as Denison jumped out to a 14-7 lead following Wittenberg scoring 4 plays for a 4-play touchdown drive. In the second quarter, Alex, was a little bit more of a defensive struggle, as Coach Hayden might have predicted.
Definitely. Of course, that didn't mean the Big Red didn't have their opportunities, as the offense really was the better offense in the first half. 14-7 the score, 13-6 on first downs and 95 more passing yards than the Tigers in the first half.
And there's something you don't see every day as Will Gingrey kicks it all the way into the end zone for a touchback, and Dennison will set up at the 20-yard line. Okay, 25-yard line. I messed it up on the punt, and then I messed it up on the kickoff.
Back and forth. It's confusing. It's confusing, and everybody's changed it over the last few years. It's 25 on kickoffs, 20 on punts. Yeah. Well, the Big Red, at least they're a little closer now than they've been for some of their possessions, or they've been pinned inside their 20, even 10, 11-yard line.
Gabley goes out wide left to Ryan Roberts on first down. Ball's on the ground, and that is going to be marked as a fumble recovered by Wittenberg. On the first play from scrimmage in the second half, Ryan Roberts coughs it up, and the Wittenberg Tigers are set up to tie this game.
And that's not how you wanted to start the second half coming out of the locker rooms if you're Denison. But it puts the defense back on the field. First drive of the game, the Tigers did have their only scoring drive, and they drove downfield quickly. This is the best field position they've had to start out, and you wonder if it'll be like that in the start of the second half.
Certainly the Denison defense is hungry to get yet another stop as the carry goes up the middle. Deshaun Sarley gets the first touch of the second half for Wittenberg, and he's stopped after a couple of yards. This is certainly the best chance Wittenberg's had on offense as far as field position is concerned. And ever since that opening touchdown drive, they haven't really been able to get much going.
I mean, Jake Kennedy had that long pass of 41 yards on that drive. He has 94 yards total.
As Kennedy will try to take off, gets a few yards, and then he's tackled over the middle. Hayden Haddon, that's the first time we've called his name tonight. He's in on the stop, and it'll be third down and medium.
The Big Red have been very good stopping Wittenberg on third down. They have yet to convert one. Of course, now would not be the time for the Tigers to convert one.
Wittenberg hasn't converted one all night. 0 of 4 before this chance. They'll go to the air, and that ball is going to be completed. And they'll have the first down as it is complete to number 11, Luke Bowling. He's down around the 10-yard line, and Wittenberg is really starting to threaten. And I'd say, Alex, as far as defense goes for the Big Red, this is the most important possession of the game. Now they're pinned down to their 10-yard line. Wittenberg trying to take advantage of a golden opportunity following the fumble. Just two wideouts, a tight end and a running back. Kennedy will run it out to the left, and that's a nice tackle made in the open field by number 35, Anthony Cernas. Kennedy looked like he might have been able to turn the corner, and then Cernas grabbed the shoelaces and brought him down. Next to no gain on the play.
You mentioned Cernas. He's one of the three captains on this team. Him, Joel Ahua, and Drew Gray, all three of them really leading a very strong senior class, both on and off the field. And it's shown that leadership really trickles down, and it's made a big difference on this team.
Little fade route to the end zone, and that is going to fall incomplete. Bowling, the intended receiver. It was right on line. We could see it right here from in the booth, but Kennedy overthrew him just a bit. And here comes a huge third down for the Denison defense.
This one you really can't have Wittenberg converting, otherwise it'll probably mean 7.
You've got to think here, Alex, that Wittenberg is going to try to throw as they line up with 3 wide receivers off to the left. The crowd starting the defense chant here at Deeds Field as they were happy with the first half result. They'll go to the air. There's another fade route into the end zone, and this one is caught for the touchdown. the exact same play, 2 plays in a row. Luke Bowling hauls this one in, and Wittenberg is an extra point away from tying this thing up.
And Jake Kennedy, too good of a quarterback to make the same mistake twice.
Both of those plays, Bowling had a step on his corner, and that time Kennedy put the ball just in the right place. And now the score stands at 14-13. Will Gingrey on to try to tie it up with the extra point. Snap and hold are good, and the kick is good as well. So Dennison really shooting itself in the foot to start the second half. A turnover deep in their own territory. And Wittenberg does what a ranked team should do. They punch it in for 7 points, and we are knotted up at 14 with 12-17 left here in the third quarter.
Just like in the first half, Wittenberg scoring on their first offensive possession. But you know what the difference is here? Now it's tied, as opposed to Denison playing from behind.
So now with less than 3 minutes gone by, I think it'd be fair to say that Coach Hayden wants to see a little bit of a reset. They'll get the ball back, the Big Red offense. And the last kick we saw Will Gingrey send it all the way into the end zone for a touchback. And now Joel Lahua and Charlie Mueller lined up. Mueller at about the 4 in case the kick is a bit shorter, and Lahua a couple of yards deep in the end zone in case of a farther kick. Denison is 16-3 in its last 19 games, but once again, folks, none of those 16 coming against Wittenberg or Wabash. And the Big Red would love to end that streak tonight as Gingrey kicks it away, and it looks like this will be more of the same, about the exact same spot, and that'll be another touchback. And now from the 25-yard line, Denison will set up.
Well, I guess the one thing you can say about Wittenberg, they're consistent. Doing a lot of the same things over and over again. On the same play twice, Gingrey kicking it the exact same place twice. Of course, hopefully that does continue, because that would mean Wittenberg wouldn't be scoring again the rest of the game. That would be nice.
You're right about that, Alex. So the Denison offense back. Ryan Roberts and David Weimer lined up to the left, and Josh Shackelford and Charlie Mueller to the right. The running back, Cody Farley. They'll give it to him on first down, up the gut. Nothing much there, maybe a yard or two. And as many times as the Big Red offense has tried, Alex, Cody Farley just can't seem to find that seam up the middle.
No, it's been tough for him, but I think that you got to give credit to Wittenberg there. Their rushing defense is one of the best in the nation. When you look in Division III, they're 18th. So that's pretty impressive. I think you got to give them plenty of credit there. Farley's a good runner, but that defense has been better.
You certainly do, as the pressure showing up the middle from Wittenberg. Low throw, and that's going to be signaled incomplete. Ryan Roberts tried to haul it in, but it hit the turf just before his mittens. And it'll be 3rd down and 9. So right out of the gate, not what you want to see out of Denison, and you got to believe that Kanan Gabley's playmaking ability will be called upon here on this 3rd down.
Denison 5 of 8 on 3rd downs. Wittenberg now 2 of 6, both those coming on their last drive.
3rd down and 9. Gabley rolling out to the right. Here comes the pressure. He throws it and just kind of flicks it out of bounds, and Wittenberg has forced the turnover as maybe a little change of the momentum here in the start of the second half, as Denison will have to punt it away. And that's the difference from what we saw in the first half, Alex. That was the same kind of play where Gabley ended up throwing his first interception of the season. That time, and likely wisely, he threw it out of bounds to where he could set his punt team up with an opportunity to pin Wittenberg a little bit. As Weimer gives it all he's got and fielded at the 40 by Jeff Tiffner. Breaks a couple of tackles and then gets sandwiched at the 45. Big hit right there. Looked like Alex Mackin was in on it once again on special teams, and it's Wittenberg 1st and 10.
Mackin racking up those tackles. But Weimer, nice job getting that end-over-end punt off quickly, because had he taken any more time, that would have been blocked and probably would have meant 6 points for the Tigers.
Wittenberg starting to play aggressively all the way around, sending the pressure on that last punt. And now Wittenberg looking to take its first lead since it was 7-0 very early on in this ball game. As the delayed handoff goes to Sarley up the middle, Denison was all over that as Sarley gets about 5. The motion was going to the left, and Kennedy thought that would maybe draw the linebackers, but they stayed home, and Sarley met a wall of red jerseys. It'll be second down.
Yeah, Denison's linebacker core too smart to be fooled by anything so simple.
Second down and 6. The handoff does not even happen. It stays with Kennedy. He goes up the middle and looks like he's got a first down. So Wittenberg relying on the ground game early in this drive. And now they've worked their way into Denison territory. They line up at the 46. David Heyer in on the last tackle for Denison. From the 44, Kennedy in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff to Sarley, the play action, taking a shot down the field. He's got a man, but he overthrew him. It was Luke Landis who had a step. It looked like Joel Lahua was tripped up just a little bit, but Kennedy overthrew him. Certainly a mistake right there out of the sophomore quarterback. Second down.
Kennedy's definitely going to want that throw back because, my goodness, wide open.
Landis, the 6-foot receiver, lined up against Lahua, the 5'9 corner. And while height might not be an advantage that often for Joel Lahua, certainly it's his athleticism, his speed, his physicality. But right there, he was tripped up. Luckily, Kennedy overthrew him. On second down, fakes the handoff, and now Kennedy's going to run back up the middle, and he's tripped up at about the 42 for a gain of about 6. Rather, the 37.
In the Big Red, it's another third down opportunity where they have to stop Wittenberg because you do not want to give that offense too much confidence. They scored 7 in the first half. They've already scored 7 in the second half. Last thing you need is that offense and that entire team to get more confidence.
Big third down right here for the Denison defense. It's 3rd and 4 from the 38. Kennedy. Ball batted in the air, and it looks like it hits the turf incomplete. That could have been disastrous for the Tigers. The Denison defense stands once again. It's 4th down, and we'll see if Wittenberg feels they're in 4-down territory. And you can see the punt team slowly making its way into the field, and they will be on the field as Wittenberg has elected to punt.
Yeah, it would be about a 56-yard field goal. That's out of the range even of Will Gingrey.
And Alex, that wasn't even in my mind. I would have thought maybe go for it on 4th down, but you're right, with a kicker with 2 50-plus yarders on the season, it's never an afterthought, but this time he'll be doing it via the punt. As line back deep for the Big Red is David Carter. We've got some motion on the line, a whistle. It looks like a Wittenberg Tiger false start, and it is. And if I heard that correctly as number 7, that's the second special teams false start on Terrence Crow this evening, the senior linebacker from right by campus in Springfield, Ohio. So
now let's give Crow's due. He's not used to having to worry about that. He's on defense normally. He is their leading tackler. Pretty good player.
And as a ranked team, like Wittenberg is, they probably don't punt all that often, although they do have such a great net punting stat. As Gingrey sends a end-over-end punt, takes a bounce at the 17, and Carter fields it at about the 10. Not really sure why, with a Wittenberg Tiger literally right on top of him, but he hangs on to it, and from about the 10, it'll be Denison ball.
It's like Siegfried and Roy entering the Tiger cage. That's literally what it was, with a Tiger right on top of him.
It'll be marked at the 10. I guess Carter felt that he wasn't in a position to get out of the way after crouching down to try to pick it up. But he hung on to it. No harm, no foul. And Cannon Gabley's out to try to reclaim the lead for the Big Red. And there's some motion Flags fly. Sophomore Josh Blas gets whistled there, and now Big Red backed up to their own 5.
That just makes things a little bit tougher.
And I don't know if it's a Wittenberg defensive adjustment, but through the first 6 minutes of this third quarter, Alex, the Denison offense just doesn't seem to have that same vigor.
They need to get something deep going, just get a bunch of yards in one play, really to just get the energy level up.
As Roberts makes the catch, but he's immediately driven back via the end of forward progress, and he's going to be marked for a gain of about 1. Now they'll give him the gain of 1. It'll be gain of 6, rather, after the 5-yard penalty, so it'll be 2nd and 9.
Matt Imarino coming in. You wonder if Gabe will be looking for him or one of many wide receivers.
David Weimer is lined up alongside Imarino on the right side. Gabley looking that way, but he's going to run. Gabley across the 20, across the 25, and out to the 28. You said it, Alex. The Big Red needed a big chunk of yards, and probably no better person to go to than Kanan Gabley.
Gabley doing it himself. Didn't have to worry about it going through the air. Just ran for a lot of yards. And I was saying, the big gain, that's going to energize the crowd, energize the offense, energize that huddle. And that did just that.
And Alex, this may be a position where the Big Red want to be aggressive in the air on first down, and they line up as if they'll do so with 5 wideouts in an empty backfield. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter, all tied up at 14. As Gabley scrambles, looking left, and just kind of dives forward. And might have got back to the line of scrimmage, might have lost a yard, might have lost a couple of yards, as the Wittenberg Tigers were all over that quarterback run.
Yeah, I think he was sacked there. I think he was really trying to pass, but you know what? They got enough pressure. They don't send a lot of guys. Wittenberg doesn't blitz a ton, especially not closer to the middle of the field. They tend to do it more when the offense gets in the red zone, but they got enough pressure there to get Gabley.
And if that's a sack, that's the first of the game for either team. And on 2nd down and 12, it's a swing out right on the screen to Imarino. Tries to turn the corner, gets a couple of extra yards right out to about the 30-yard line. So basically gets back the yardage lost on the sack. And maybe a couple extra. It'll be 3rd and long still. 3rd and about 7 to go. And this is going to be a real testing point for the Big Red offense. They've been in a lot of 3rd and shorts, not too many 3rd and longs. We'll see if Kanan Gabley will use the arm or the legs to try to convert this one. As he scans the field, he'll dump it off to Cody Farley. He makes the catch, but he's going to be short of the marker as Gabley threw it too far in front of him. And as we can hear the coaching staff for the Big Red a couple of boosts over, they weren't happy with that throw.
Yeah, that throw needed to be more where Farley could catch it and run upfield, because that is how you get a first down. Him diving, he's down there in college. You don't even have to be touched as long as you hit the ground. And so now the Big Red will be forced to punt.
David Weimer hangs this one high in the air. Fair catch signal for by Tiffner. And the ball's on the ground. We'll see who's got this one. All kinds of bodies in the pile, and there's a quick signal. They say Wittenberg's got it, and they do. As a Tiger comes out of the pile with the ball. I think that's wide receiver Devon Bergelin, number 85. So a scary moment right there for Wittenberg and potentially a huge break, but the Tigers fall on their own fumble.
But man, that's called for the fair catch. Just don't touch it. It's pretty simple.
I think what happened on that, Alex, it wasn't even Tiffner that touched it. I think it was a protection man that was backing up to block, and the ball actually ended up hitting him. Perhaps he might have been pushed. If he was, it wasn't seen by the officials. Through it all, it's Wittenberg 1st and 10 from their own 34, as Kennedy will hand up the middle. Nothing much there on first down. As a flag flies after the play, we'll see what's going on with this one, as it looks like Hayden Hatton is being high-fived by a couple of his teammates. We'll see if we've got a dead ball foul against the Tigers.
They're moving back.
Number 65, that's Alec Nutting, the senior O-lineman out of Lakeland, Florida. And after fumbling the punt and getting it back, the Tigers whistle for a personal foul. So after Denison kind of shooting themselves in the foot a couple of times, it's Wittenberg that's going backwards.
Of course, this does give Wittenberg an opportunity to try and air it out, and they've had some success doing that today.
2nd and 24, they will try to keep it on the ground as Kennedy almost broke it up the middle. And luckily the penalty yardage extended the first down marker, because normally that's a first down easily, but he's tackled in the secondary, and it'll be 3rd down and still about 9 yards to go.
Andrew Baird, the last line of defense, getting the tackle there. Baird, the leading tackler on this team, had 25 a couple weeks ago. School record, at least since tackles were an official stat since 01. Baird, very impressive as a safety, and seems like he's in on every tackle, and that one of the most important.
Crowd on its feet on this 3rd down play. They want their Big Red to get a stop. Kennedy dropping back, rolling left. He's got some space, and he slides down, but I don't think he got there. He did not. He's short of the marker. And Alex, I don't think Jake Kennedy really had much awareness of where the marker was on that play.
No, and he kept running. He might have gotten the first down, but he slid, and the problem is he's down when he actually slides and hits the ground. He may have gotten 5-6 yards on the slide, but that doesn't do you any good. That just looks nice.
Alex, I think that's just a mental mistake. You're right. It's when you start the slide is where you're marked down. I think that's just not knowing where the marker was. But the Big Red will take it as David Carter lines back at the 20 to receive. Not much pressure on this punt. They'll try to set up a return as Carter fields the end-over-end punt at the 15, trying to cut it backwards, and not a wise decision. And as he's brought down at the 15, very well covered by Wittenberg, but not before Wittenberg makes a mental mistake and ends up turning it back over to the Big Red. And we're still in a 14-14 deadlock here in the 3rd quarter, as this game has really become a physical battle since the 1st quarter.
Oh, yeah, it's been a phenomenal game. It's kind of disappointing that one of these teams has to lose, but it's been exciting throughout, energetic, some big plays from both offense and defense for both teams. And Dennison with an opportunity. The 3rd quarter, coming into this game, they outscored opponents 49-7 in the 3rd quarter.
Alex, I think the Worcester game might have had something to do with that.
That's true. They scored 28 in that one, but only allowing 1 touchdown.
Gabe didn't see the pressure, but he's got him in down the field. It's complete. Ryan Roberts tripped up at midfield. Caden Gabley was hammered when he threw that ball, but he hung in the pocket. Ryan Roberts probably made up for the fumble right there with that catch. And the Big Red have got a huge chunk of yardage on 1st down. They're in Tiger territory.
And you know that Ryan Roberts was wanting to make up for the mistake. And right there, that is a big gain for the Big Red. Puts them in Wittenberg territory.
And we're going to have a timeout on the field as we've got a Tiger down. That's number 5, Keenan Wilson, the junior defensive back out of Eaton, Ohio. So he'll be tended to by the training staff. So Alex, we start the 2nd half. The Big Red a little bit shaky. Then Wittenberg with some penalties. They turn the ball right back over. And now the Big Red have just broken off an enormous pass play to start. Ryan Roberts was wide open down the field. He nearly broke that one all the way.
Yeah, that's a highlight play. When you're cutting highlight film from this game, that's going on there. CJ Davis has one. David Weimer has one. Some of those Caden Gabley runs, but definitely that Roberts catch has to be on the highlight video.
Exactly right, and we see Keenan Wilson able to get to the sideline. Always good to see. Now at the 47-yard line of Wittenberg is Denison. And we'll see if the Big Red try to keep running and gunning like the last play. It will go to the air. Gabley tried to dump it off to his man Farley. They had blockers out in front, and actually a lineman I think that was Josh Blas, number 69. He didn't see the ball coming, and that one almost hit him in the back. And that's not something you want to see if you're an offensive coordinator.
No, that was not a pretty play. That one's not going on the highlight film.
I wouldn't think so, Alex. And it's a real shame because when you look down, Farley would have had two or three of those big linemen blocking for him, but it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10. Gabley rolling right, finds Charlie Mueller, hits Charlie Mueller, and that's about a 5-yard gain. So nice job by Charlie Mueller. Even though he went to the ground after he caught it, he had to make sure he made the catch because 3rd and 5 is a lot better than 3rd and 10.
Very true. I mean, Gabley, a lot of his rushes, he gets 5-6 yards. He's averaging 5.4 yards per carry here today. And so it's a lot easier for him to get his average than it is to get twice that.
Third down and 6. Seems like every play is a big play at this stage. That's complete. Cody Farley, he's got a couple men to beat. Gets out of bounds. And it looks like he's going to be a little bit short. We'll see where he's spotted. And he will be. He'll be about a 2 yards short of the first down marker. And it's going to, 2 yards short of the marker. And Alex, I must say I'm a little surprised to see the punt team run out so quickly. You might think that it would be a good chance to go for it. Perhaps a little bit too much time left on the clock. Low snap for Weimer. Luckily, not much of a rush from Wittenberg. It's going to be pinned down deep. It goes out of bounds with Joel Lahua just gunning down there to try to keep it in. And that's marked at the 3-yard line. Call him a wide receiver. Call him a punter. David Weimer just seems to get the job done no matter what, and he pins the Tigers deep again.
Yeah, he's pretty good at both of those things.
It's going to be marked at the 4.
Weimer routinely putting punts inside the 20, over 100 yards receiving. He's been very good all season.
You put a highlight tape together of him. One moment he's catching one moment he's kicking one. A little bit of everything for Weimer. And this is a big spot, Alex, because if the Big Red can hold Wittenberg from getting a first down, they should set themselves up for great field position should they be able to get the ball back. And the crowd knows it too. They're on their feet. As Washington is stopped in the backfield, is able to scramble, but he stopped for no gain. Jaheim Washington did a nice job of staying away from the 1-yard line, but the Big Red defense holds strong, and it's no gain, 2nd and 10.
Football is a game of field position, and with the Tigers pinned back very far, this defense can really make a big difference and make it a short field for the offense. We saw that a lot earlier this season against some teams, and the Big Red with short fields were able to convert for a lot of points.
2nd and 10, Kennedy's going to roll out. Doesn't have much, just kind of flips it. No receiver in the area. The Big Red want a intentional grounding call, but the refs are pointing to a receiver saying that there was a receiver in the area, and we're seeing safety signals because intentional grounding in the end zone would result in a safety. But I think the officials feel that there was a receiver in the area. And that's pretty.
I couldn't see him if there was.
Pretty borderline in my mind, Alex.
Yeah.
And folks, if you couldn't hear the crowd at Dietz Field before, I'm sure you can now. They are on their feet. 3rd down and 10. Wittenberg pinned inside their own 5. Dennison sure to bring the pressure, and it looks like Wittenberg's called a timeout, and the Denison defense is pumped up, Alex.
And that's a huge timeout right here. Especially in a tie game, timeouts can be very valuable, especially 15 minutes from now. But right now, 2 minutes left in the third, calling a timeout. That's a big assist for the crowd, quite honestly. The home fans coming out here at Dietz Field Piper Stadium, packing the stands, not just sitting there. No, they're standing up. They are loud. They are screaming. And they have some cowbells, too, and that is making a big difference.
A little bit of the 12th man out here at Dietz Field, I must say. You look down, and other than probably the final 2 sections on each side, we've pretty much got some packed bleachers. And also, nice job by Wittenberg bringing fans over on their side. As you said, not too far of a drive for the Tigers. So now the conference with Coach Joe Fincham and his offense is over. The Denison defense is hungry for a stop. Ball on the 4-yard line. It's 3rd down and 10.
Wittenberg 2 of 8 on 3rd down here tonight.
Kennedy looking to throw. Lofts it down the sideline and incomplete. He was looking for Luke Landis and overthrew him by a good 5 yards, and Wittenberg will be punting out of the back of their own end zone.
Yeah, he looked like he was trying to throw that one back to Springfield. Nobody was home. There was nobody near that ball. Big opportunity now for Denison.
And with a very quality punter in Will Gingrey, you've got to think that he's going to try to put as much air under this one as possible to not give David Carter a chance to run this one back. He's lined up at the 45 of Wittenberg.
Of course, Carter has to be careful. He did fumble a punt return, and the Big Red ended up losing the ball on that return last week against Hiram.
Pretty good punt by Gingrey. Fields it about the 50. David Carter gets across the 45, still on his feet across the 40, and all the way down to the 36-yard line. David Carter, he's 5'7", 150 pounds. He sure doesn't play like it. Moving the pile, moving Tigers all the way down to the 35, and he sets up his Big Red offense with great field position.
It was like stepping through bear traps for him, and he got out just before they closed on him. He had guys trying to tackle his legs, and he was just tiptoeing all around them.
We've got another Wittenberg Tiger down. Looks like a bit of cramping on a member of their special teams unit. So perhaps a bit of a delay. Well, Alex, we saw the Big Red turn it over deep in their own territory, and I'd say we've got the exact flip of that. As great job by the Big Red defense. They didn't force the turnover, but they forced the punt, and then a great return by David Carter, about 15-yard return. This is Kanan Gabley's chance to give his team the lead. And it looks like it was Keenan Wilson yet again for the Tigers, so perhaps a bit of a cramping issue to go with whatever was ailing him before, and he's once again able to get to the sideline under his own power. Perhaps they just got to get that guy some water. Nonetheless, 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line for the Big Red. And this is a pretty good spot, Alex, where you've got to think that they're looking to their deep wide receiver threats on 1st down.
Definitely. I mean, you get a deep ball. That could be 7 points in one play and really a statement.
Kanan Gabley goes to the ground, and he crosses the 30, about a gain of 8. Kanan Gabley goes through his progressions not too quickly, but just quickly enough to give him time to run, and he knows just when to do it. Broke that one off for about 7 or 8. They'll give him 8 yards on that, and it's 2nd and short, and they've got a lot of options.
Gabley trusts his O-line. He knows he's not going to have too much of a rush on him. They're going to keep the guys away, and he's going to have some holes that he's going to be able to take advantage if there's nobody that he likes who's open.
As the carry goes up the middle, and Cody Farley looks to be pretty close to the 1st down marker. And while Cody Farley hasn't been able to break off too many long runs tonight, he's been putting his nose down and doing the dirty work, and he does have a rushing touchdown tonight as well. They'll mark him just short. And as I say that, they decide to move the chains, so Cody Farley ends up getting the 1st down for the Big Red. And the ball is placed at the 27-yard line.
I don't think you'll hear any complaining about that spot from this side of the field.
It's only a matter of time before the Big Red decide to take a shot downfield. On 1st down, Gabley will go to the ground again, and he takes a big hit from behind. Number 7, Terrence Crow hits number 7 in red, and the ball will be spotted at the 26, so just a 1-yard pickup after the east and west action from Kanan Gabley. And the final seconds of the 3rd quarter will tick down as we hit the 10-second mark. And you can see the Denison players on the sideline holding up the 4s as we get ready to head to the 4th quarter. All tied up between Denison and Wittenberg, 14-14. Alex, we've got a great one on our hands tonight.
Oh, definitely. Now, I do want to mention this, and I've waited 3 quarters to mention this, but the Wittenberg Sports Information Office was throwing a little shade at the Big Red in their notes, and thank you Wittenberg Sports Information Officer, putting together some very good notes. They've been very helpful. But just one of the things that they said was, despite a 5-0 start to the season, Denison is not ranked. Well, right now, I see these two teams tied at 14. Interestingly enough, 14, Wittenberg's rank. So very interesting. So you know what? Denison may not be ranked, but they're getting a lot of respect right here, hanging tight with Wittenberg. They've been ahead for times. It's tied right now. And Denison with a big opportunity to take the lead once again.
Denison in the, quote, others receiving votes, part of the D3 poll in this last week. And you've got to think that a win this week against a nationally ranked and nationally respected Wittenberg Tiger program, actually the second winningest program in Division III history, behind Mount Union of the OAC, that Denison would make its way into the ranks.
And that's only happened in more recent years that Mount has overtaken Wittenberg. They're known for their football. I mean, that's really what Wittenberg is. They're synonymous with Division III football.
Gabe going across the middle, dangerous throw. Looked like he was looking for Mad Eye Marino. It falls incomplete.
What was interesting is that I Marino tipped a little bit, and he tipped it just a little more. David Weimer would have been right there to catch it. Looked like it was right behind him, so you wonder if maybe Gabe was trying to thread the needle and somebody got to it.
It's 3rd down and 9. Ball at the 26. So as of right now, the Big Red are in Conor Dunn field goal range.
Would be about a 43-yarder from here.
Gabley wants to keep moving that ball forward. He'll dump it off. That's Cody Farley. He's got blockers. And he works his way down to about the 22 or 3. So he gets a couple more. And that'll set up a Conor Dunn field goal attempt.
And Conor Dunn and Will Gingrey tied atop the Division III leaderboard in field goals per game, 1.80. Gingrey has not attempted a field goal. Dunn will attempt one. Right here, this is his first of the game. That's field goals made per game, I should say, 1.8. Dunn had a lot of them earlier this season in a couple games.
And the snap is down, kick is in the air, and Dunn pushed it left. It had the distance, just a little bit to the side of the ball, and Wittenberg holds the Big Red, and we are still knotted at 14.
The old broadcaster jinx strikes again. I don't know, from my vantage point, maybe I need to clean my glasses. That one looked like it had the distance, and it looked like it was through, but pushed just a little left.
And in a game like this, Alex, a field goal could certainly make the difference. As we've said before, folks, ever since the first quarter, it has been a defensive battle. From the start of the second quarter on, it's been Wittenberg 7, Denison nothing. But that's not how they measure it. It's 14-14 as we are currently in the 4th. Sarley straight up the middle. Gets about 3. And Wittenberg will go no huddle as they've done a number of times tonight. Jay Kennedy dropping back. Here comes the pressure. He's sacked. Nate Kern. He looked like he was a free rusher. He buries Jake Kennedy. It's 3rd and very, very long.
Nate Kern has been a revelation on the defensive line. He has been phenomenal, quite honestly. He's come in here, leading the team in sacks, getting a bunch of them. A 3-sack day earlier this season, and he's been impressive.
Coach Hatem thinks that Kern has a case for Rookie of the Year in the conference, the way he's been able to burst onto the scene as it's 3rd and very long. Here comes the pressure again, and the Big Red stop Kennedy once again. Nate Kern in on the play, Alex Rayner, Ryan McEwen, everyone was in on it. 4th down, Wittenberg to punt.
Yeah, it felt like there were 11 red jerseys tacked on Kennedy all at once on that one, and that sets up another punt and could mean another short field for the Big Red.
And you've got to think, Alex, that Wittenberg got out of one short field situation, but now it looks like the Big Red will have themselves a second as David Carter lines up at his own 45-yard line as Gingrey will punt from the goal line. Low snap. The pressure comes. They can't get there. Very long spiraling punt, and Carter puts the ball on the ground. Ball still loose. It looks like Wittenberg's got it. A lot of white jerseys in the area. No signal yet. And Wittenberg has the football.
That one, another special teams mistake for Carter. That punt was hit a lot farther than he thought it was going to be, and that's one where you don't go for it. Let it roll. If it's a 90-yard punt, so be it, but you don't want Wittenberg getting the ball back. And now the Tigers have a short field instead of the Big Red, and that type of play, that can make all the difference in a game like this, where just small mistakes can cost you and can make a big difference for the other team. So this is going to be very interesting. It keeps the defense out on the field, forces them to keep playing a little more tired, a little more fatigued. And now Wittenberg in field goal range right now. This is very, very bad for Denison.
If there's one thing that's on Denison's side right now, it is the clock, with still 12:39 to play in this ball game. As we've got a stoppage before the first down play.
Well, the defense has been pretty good against this Tigers offense. The Big Red offense has not scored since the first quarter. You really have to wonder what this could mean.
It was a bit of an issue with the play clock getting started, but now that's all fixed. 1st and 10, Wittenberg. They'll swing it out on the wide receiver screen. That's Bowling. It's complete. Working his way down to the 20. He gets hit hard, but he hangs on for a gain of about 8. And at this point, Alex, I think it's the Denison defense that deserves the credit. They've been on the field a lot tonight. No huddle once again, as Kennedy goes off to the left and falls a little bit short of the marker. And it'll be 3rd down, as Denison has once again placed Wittenberg in a 3rd down situation as we hit 12 minutes to go in the ball game.
Denison has to stop Wittenberg here. Don't want to give him more downs. And the last thing you want to do is give him a touchdown. You'll take a field goal with what happened leading to this drive.
Jaheim Washington is the running back. 3rd down and 3. They swing it out. It's complete to Bowling. He's got the first down. He's down to the 10-yard line. It looked like Bowling got a little bit lost in the shuffle as Ryan Zinkula and Alex Rayner were over there. Plenty of space for Bowling, and Wittenberg's really threatening now. It's 1st and 10 from the 10.
That's one of those demoralizing plays, especially now that it gets him into 1st and goal territory.
Kennedy hands off to Washington. Brought down at about the 6. Looked like the ball might have popped out. Denison's throwing some signals in the air, but it looks like Washington will be marked down. Denison still signaling they have it.
Denison says they have the ball.
Hayden Hatton is celebrating, and it is Denison football. What a turn of events. A muffed punt leading to a short field for Wittenberg, and the defense stands again. They force the Wittenberg turnover. What a back and forth roller coaster game this has been, as with 11 minutes to go, it's Denison football once again.
Wow, how quickly the tables have turned. You talk about a fumble costing the Big Red, now a fumble costing the Tigers. Looked like Andrew Baird ended up with the ball.
Who else? Who else,
Truly,
Alex?
who else would end up with it? Andrew Baird seems like he's in on every play. That right there could be the difference.
The ball is way back on their own 6. So Denison's still got a long way to go, but certainly a huge play recovering that fumble. Gabley across the middle, complete. Charlie Mueller out around the 15. That'll put him close to a 1st down. It'll be 2nd and short.
Just getting a few yards makes it a lot easier. You do not want to be playing from your own end zone, essentially. That's never where you want to be.
And we've seen, Alex, a little bit of a change in the wide receiving distribution. Normally it's David Weimer, but Roberts has had some receptions. Charlie Mueller, we've seen Matt Imarino with a couple of balls tonight.
Don't forget about Cody Farley. He's used to getting the ball on handoffs, but he's also caught some passes.
2nd and 1. Gabley trying to run, and Wittenberg sniffed it out, and he is dropped for a loss. Looked like Dustin Holmes and Carter Harris in on the stop for the Tigers. And once again, it's a key 3rd down. It looks like about 4 yards to go.
This one is a big 3rd down that the Denison needs to convert. Denison 5 of 12 on 3rd downs, a little lower than their average, which is very high in Division III, over 50%.
Sure seems like every play tonight's been played at a 3rd down, hasn't it, Alex? As Gabley rolling out, looking for David Weimer, makes the catch! They do say that Weimer is the go-to, and go to him they did. On the 3rd down play, Weimer rolling out to the right, all the way out to the 31-yard line, 1st and 10.
That Weimer's 6th catch of the game. He's well over 100 yards now, and none have been bigger than that one, it feels like.
Now Denison with some breathing room out to their own 31. Gabley gonna loft it up in the air for Charlie Mueller. Pass complete! And a touchdown saving tackle made by number 30, Terrell Richardson. But it's another big gain for Charlie Mueller. And the Denison offense really starting to threaten another 1st down for Gabley.
That's impressive for Denison. They've had these big gains. Went from a long field, now it's just a short field as Alex Mackin checks in for Denison. We've seen Mackin get a lot of tackles on special team. Comes in, does a lot of blocking at H-back when he comes in.
Perhaps he's used in the scheme on 1st and 10. As they looked like they were going to swing it out to the left on the screen, but Gabley escapes. Going to try to get to the sideline and ends up getting a couple of yards. A little late hit out of bounds. Gabley wants a flag, but looks like no laundry will be thrown right there. He actually does gain about 3 yards. And I think that play right there just speaks to Kanan Gabley's ability to extend plays. The first option was to throw the screen. It wasn't there. The second option was to run up the middle. That wasn't there. He said, you know what? I'm going to run to the right, maybe try to turn it upfield. He ends up getting 4 yards.
That's the true dual threat nature of Kanan Gabley. He's been good. He truly has been good.
Quick pass out to Imarino. That's complete. He'll be short of the 1st down, but it'll be 3rd and about a yard.
Of course, Denison, this offense, up over 400 yards total, over 300 passing yards now. They've done very well for themselves offensively. And right now, they're nearing the red zone territory. This is field goal range right now. You know Conor Dunn wants to make amends for the one that he pushed a little bit earlier on in this quarter.
The offense thinking 7, including number 7, Gabley. 3rd and 2, rolling out, gonna take a shot towards the end zone. It's Farley, and he hangs on! Cody Farley, he tipped it up, and he hangs on inside the 5-yard line. That's 1st and goal. You said it, Alex. Cody Farley can make some catches. Catch it, he did. What a play that was.
My goodness. He didn't have it. That one looked like it was thrown more to the guy covering Farley than to Farley himself. But Farley made something out of nothing. Now Denison, they're not worried about 3. They're worried about 6 right here.
Gabley will be under center in the goal line set. 1st and goal. The handoff. Farley spins outside. He's running to the right. He's going to cross the plane. It's a touchdown. Denison has taken the lead back 20-14. You wouldn't think it would have happened, Alex. The Denison Big Red came out in the second half. They turned it over twice. But the defense stood. The offense broke off some big plays. Cody Farley with his 2nd touchdown, and he sure deserved that one after the catch the play before.
Definitely.
Conor Dunn for the extra point. It's up and it's through. It hasn't been done since 1989, a Denison win over Wittenberg. But with 7 minutes to go in the ball game, the homestanding Big Red, in front of a large crowd, have taken a 7-point lead over the Tigers. And now the defense is sure to bring the pressure.
And you can't write a story this well if the Big Red can hold on. But Wittenberg is no joke. They are a very good team. They're going to do their best to try and come back. Denison can't just rest right now. They have 7 minutes. Then they can celebrate. But first things first, they do not need Wittenberg tying this up on this possession.
The first assignment will be to hold Jeff Tiffner and Nick Kendall back deep, as Conor Dunn prepares to kick this one away. As Dunn sends it back, and it's going to be fielded by Kendall at the 5-yard line. Running straight up the gut, across the 20, across the 30. A little bit of room. The hit made at about the 40. And that hit was made by number 39, Ashton Millett, the reserve defensive back, making a good play right there on special teams. And after a good return by Kendall, Wittenberg is set up at their own 41 to try to punch in the game-tying score. And Alex, I don't care what anybody says. This is the possession of the year for the Big Red defense. 7 minutes to go, 7-point lead. Under the lights in front of a nationally ranked team in Wittenberg. They are hungry for a stop. They'll fake the handoff. Kennedy pushing it out left. He's going to be hit hard and brought down for a loss. David Heyer picks off Kennedy, and it's going to be a loss of a yard.
I think that snap a little bobbled by Kennedy, but he did what he could with his feet. Wasn't much of anything on that play. It was a broken play.
It's a loss of 1, second down and 11. Kennedy rolling right. Looks to pitch it. He will. It goes to Sarley. He's got some space into the second level, and Sarley is close to a first down. Nice job by Deshaun Sarley to navigate his way through traffic. And he will move the chains. It's a first down and a gain of about 12.
And no matter how this game ends up, this Denison program has been turned around over the last few years by head coach Jack Hayden. It's been very impressive. 5-0 last year to start, 5-0 this year as well.
They're taking a shot at the end zone. Kennedy airing it out deep, incomplete. Joel Lahua in on the coverage, intended for Luke Landis. And Lahua, tabbed by Coach Hayden as the best football player in the NCAC, did his job right there, second down.
I mean, Lahua has been impressive tonight. Right there, it looked like he was Velcroed or glued to Landis that entire time. There was no way that Landis was going to make the catch, even with a 3-inch height advantage.
Second down, they'll go to the ground. It's Sarley. Gets about 3, and it's going to be third and long. A little bit of pushing and shoving after the play, but no flags. And it'll be third and about 7 yards to go. Crowd on their feet. Kennedy back to pass. Here comes the pressure. He's rolling out, going to take a shot down the field. It's Landis, and he makes the catch inbounds. Landis at the 7-yard line. What a play. Jake Kennedy directing traffic as he was rushed. A perfect throw, a nice catch from Landis.
That would not have been a catch in the NFL, but you only need 1 foot inbounds in college. Landis got just that. Big gain and a big new set of downs for the Tigers.
We saw it, and the Snap goes into the backfield, and Jake Kennedy has to just fall on it. But there was a flag before the snap. So I think Wittenberg is going to catch a break, and it's going to be more than a break because it's offsides against the Big Red.
I think it was on Hatton. Looked like he moved right before the snap.
So everything going the Tigers' way in the last couple of plays. And it's going to be half the distance to the goal. And it was already first down, so it'll remain first down. We saw Wittenberg turn it over in this area of the field before. Denison looking for a huge stop, up 7. Kennedy going to the left, pushing for the pylon. He's in, and Wittenberg has evened the score. Kennedy in from about 2 yards out, and they're an extra point away from tying this thing up.
But exactly 5 minutes left on the clock. That's plenty of time for Denison, who, if they're the last team to have the ball, they're probably going to be the last team to score. Of course, we saw that same thing last year against DePaul here at Deedsfield Viper Stadium with the Tigers, the other Tigers of the NCAC, having the ball last and getting a last-second field goal.
And the line drive extra point kick from Gingrey is good. Folks, did you expect anything else? Knotted up at 21, 5 minutes to go. Denison looking for its biggest win in a long time. First win over Wittenberg since 1989. It's a tie game, 5 minutes to go on the clock. But the way that Coach Tatum speaks of Kanan Gabley, you've got to think that he's as relaxed as ever.
Oh, definitely. Of course, the biggest thing will be on special teams, what's going to happen here. Big Red have done well on kickoff returns. Gingrey has booted the ball pretty far. Actually, a few touchbacks here this evening.
Touchbacks coming on each of the last 2 kicks for Will Gingrey. He'll certainly try to do the same. We saw him pin the ball near the corner of the end zone in the previous 2. But that's sort of a dangerous game because we know a free kick out of bounds results in great field position. So perhaps Gingrey discussing with his kickoff team where he'll try to place this one.
He's taking an unusually long amount of time to do that. We've seen some trickeration on special teams in the past this season. I would be shocked if we saw it here, but never count it out.
He will kick it deep. It is going deep. And Alex, what is it that gives you great field position on kickoffs?
A free kick out of bounds.
And there it is. So the last thing that Wittenberg needs to do on special teams is done. And Denison will line itself up at the 35-yard line without even having to touch the ball. And that could potentially be a huge mistake in a tie game with 5 minutes to go, as Denison's average field position has not been the 35-yard line tonight.
It's true. The Big Red have been backed inside their 10 for a bunch of possessions. Well, it hasn't mattered with this offense. They've been able to take those possessions, just drive downfield and take a lot of time off the clock. They've got exactly 5 minutes to break up this tie.
Gabley with plenty of time, taking a shot. It's Mueller downfield. It's incomplete. Nice job on the coverage by Javen Ware, the sophomore out of Indianapolis, Indiana. He was all over Mueller. Mueller didn't have much of a chance on that one.
No, Mueller fell down. I think he was trying to play maybe a flag, but that's not going to happen.
And probably wisely, as that's about the only thing that could have gone right for the Big Red on that. Well, luckily, it was so overthrown that Ware didn't have a chance at it either. It's 2nd and 10. 4 wideouts and a running back. Gabley, here comes the pressure up the middle. Tries to dump it off to Farley, and it's tipped at the line, incomplete. Terrence Crow came all the way up the middle and actually tipped the pass from Gabley. And now the Big Red are facing a big 3rd down.
Denison, they've had 14 third downs. They've converted 7 of them. This one, 3rd and 10. Very important. The last thing you want to do is 3 and out. Taking just a few seconds off the clock and handing the Tigers the football.
A few seconds is right. It's 4:51 officially left in the ball game. Kanan Gabley is going to need to make a play on 3rd and 10. He's going to try to run. Not much room, and he's going to be hit well short of the marker. Number 51, Bobby Saul, making the hit. And it's going to be 4th down and 5, and the Big Red punting unit will come on.
Big Red have done pretty well punting the ball. This is going to be an important one, as it looks like Wittenberg is sending everybody to try and block it.
Here comes the pressure. Pretty decent job of getting in there, but a great punt by Weimer, and the fair catch signal for and made by Jeff Tiffner down at about the 23-yard line. So David Weimer, another nice job on special teams. And Coach Jack Hayden called this game a statement game. Well, the game within the game, this is a statement possession for the Big Red defense.
The Big Red swarm defense needs to stop the Tigers, just like the Tigers stopped Dennison on their last offensive possession.
The handoff goes to Sarley on the right side. He runs into Ryan Zinkula. And then David Heyer in on the stop as well. Nothing much there on 1st down, a gain of about 1 or 2. Each team with some physicality, each team with some big plays, each team with some mistakes. A really back and forth game, so evenly matched on this Saturday night. Number 15, Wittenberg, and the 5-0 Denison Big Red. Kennedy gonna go over the middle, nearly tipped, but it's completed to Luke Bowling. And that's going to be a Wittenberg 1st down. 3:35 on the clock, and the clock will run upon the reset of the chain starting now.
It's been those Lukes, Landis and Bowling, who've caught now 10 passes, 10 of 14 completions for Kennedy to either Landis or Bowling.
1st and 10. And there's another completion. This time, it goes to number 81, Tyler Everidge. Gains about 6. As we hit the 3-minute mark, you got to think Wittenberg will run off as much clock as they can while still scoring, but perhaps scoring might be the only priority. As a fumble in the snap, and Kennedy is going to be wrapped up and driven backwards. Kennedy, we've seen a couple fumbled snaps out of him tonight. And the Big Red able to capitalize. That's about a loss of 3 yards. And we see number 97, Chase Strewing, not only make the hit, but lose his helmet. He'll come off for a play. Number 99, Ben Cross, in to replace him.
A lot of dudes in on that tackle, Strewing one of them. Andrew Baird also. Now a big 3rd down. Seems like this whole game has been about 3rd downs. None bigger than this one for the Denison defense and the Witt offense.
3rd and 4. Kennedy gonna go down the sideline. He's got a man, but it's intercepted. He overthrew his man, and it was Ryan Zinkula in to intercept the pass back at the 29-yard line. Denison set up for the potential game-winning score with 2:25 to go, and no mistake from Kennedy is bigger than that one.
And Zinkula, many picks this season. This is the 3rd consecutive game where Zink has intercepted a pass. That's the 7th interception overall for this Big Red Swarm defense on the season.
There's just a lot of talent in that secondary, Alex. I mean, Joel Lahua, Andrew Baird. We just saw Zinkio with the pick. Lucas Gunkel with some great plays tonight. There is no landing spot in that secondary as Gabley hits David Weimer over the middle, breaks the tackle across the 35, and he stood up there for about a gain of 6.
And you mentioned it, Zinkala actually forcing Baird to switch positions this season because both of them so talented in the secondary. Right there, they showed it. Now 2 minutes left. And Denison, they have the opportunity here, taking off some time and maybe getting that last score.
Rolling right, Gabley. Looks to the sideline. Hits Charlie Mueller complete. That'll stop the clock, and it's a first down for the Big Red. And I know this might be a little premature, but Conor Dunn, such a great kicker. We saw him miss the last one. Certainly he knows he could be called upon in this situation. With 1:49 to go, we know that Gabe is thinking 6 all the time, but it could come down to the foot of Dunn, and you know he's got to be probably as confident as ever. His teammates have got to be patting him on the back for this one, as everyone knows how big of a game this is for the Big Red. As
Dunn practicing right now on the kicking net on the sideline.
1st and 10, they'll go down the field to Mueller, and he had to turn around, thrown off the wrong shoulder by Gabley, but harmlessly falls incomplete. 2nd down.
1:45 left in the 4th quarter. And I'm a senior and I could be mistaken here, but if I'm not, but I hope I'm not. This will be the first overtime game here at Deedsfield Piper Stadium in my 4 years.
And as a junior, it will be during mine. And so unless some craziness happened back in the 2013 season, you've got that right. As 2nd down, Gabley over the middle, complete. I think that's David Carter, and it is. He's close to the 1st down marker. He'll be marked about 1.5 yards short. That's a big completion, as 3rd and 10 is the last place you want to be in a 2-minute drill. Clock still running, under 1.5 minutes to go. 121, 120. Offense hurrying up to the line. Denison with 3 timeouts. Wittenberg has 2. Gabley with protection. Going to go out to David Weimer. Makes the catch. He's across the 1st down marker. A nice job by Weimer to make sure he caught it. And that'll be another 1st down. And Coach Jack Hayden will use the 1st timeout. And Denison really starting to move now.
Jack Kaser looked like he was going to get that and maybe intercept it or tip it, break it up. He did none of those things. Weimer hitting the turf, making the catch though. Big catch for the Big Red. 66 seconds left. Tie game. They're in Wittenberg territory. Probably need to get to about the 30-ish yard line to be within Conor Dunn's range. He says he can go close to 50 in that high 40s, but that's in a very tight game. Close situation at the end of the 4th quarter. They trust Conor Dunn a lot. That's putting a lot of trust in the kicker if that happens. But you know the Big Red, they want to get closer. They'd love to get a touchdown right here, too, if they can.
Talking field goals, Alex, I think the last attempt from Dunn was low 40s, if I'm not mistaken. Well, regardless, it had plenty of distance on it. So we know that he has the foot to hit those upper 40s, maybe even up to 50-yarders. But you're right. Caden Gabley is thinking a touchdown. It'll be 1st down from the Wittenberg 39. Imerino goes in motion. He's one of 3 wideouts to the right. Ryan Roberts, the lone wideout on the left. Gabley, quick strike. Weimer, complete. 1st down. As he gets down to about the 32-yard line. Marked at the 32, another 1st down. 1 minute, 1 second remaining. And there's the signal. The clock continues to run inside of 1 minute. As the Big Red have gotten themselves probably right on the border of Conor Dunn's range. They're certainly looking for more. Gabley looking to run. That'll get him some yards. He bounces it outside. Across the 25. Down to the 20. Caden Gabley, another 1st down. That's a big play right there. Stops the clock with 44 seconds to go.
It'll be very interesting to see Denison's choices here. They can go and try and run the ball, maybe get it to somewhere closer to the middle that Conor Dunn likes a little more for his kicks. He may prefer one hash mark to the other. And it would also be an opportunity to take time off the clock and essentially give the Big Red the final opportunity, the final scoring opportunity here. Of course, they still have plenty of time and a few opportunities to go for 6 if they want to.
1st down. Gabley going to keep it on the ground on the right side. Across the 20. Down about the 16. Big hit as he goes out of bounds. No flags. It looked like a pretty clean hit to me, despite upending him. And Alex, with 2 timeouts left for Wittenberg, you got to believe they're going to use them to ice a potential field goal.
Oh, definitely. Now, I hate to bring up the macro and the statistics. I am an analytics guy, though, but mathematically, they say icing the kicker does not work. Granted, a lot of that data from the NFL, where kickers a little bit more sure, different game situations, they're getting paid, but very well could see a kicker being iced here.
It's 2nd and 7. The handoff goes to Farley, and he gets inside the 15. Clock's still running, and it looks like Wittenberg will use a timeout, and they will.
Timeout. Wittenberg, second charge, timeout.
So now Dennison getting down into more extra point range. And now the question isn't the distance. You said it earlier, Alex. Conor Dunn might prefer a certain hash mark over another. You know, it's still 3rd down, 32 seconds, so there will be another offensive play run. And who knows, maybe the Big Red find a hole and punch it in for 7.
Of course, now that timeout that Wittenberg's taking is very important. They have 1 left now because they took one at, I believe, 2:02 left in the 3rd quarter. They had to take one. And so because of that, now they only have 1. So they could ice the kicker. But if that doesn't work and Dunn makes it, then it's 25 seconds left, not even, and Wittenberg gets the ball. I mean, there's a lot that could happen potentially.
Here's how I think Coach Hayden would like to run it, Alex. You run the ball here. Wittenberg probably uses their last time out, right? Then they have none. And if you get the first down, you run another one. Then you can run as much clock off as you want, and then a potential quote-unquote walk-off kick from Dunn. The Big Reds still need to run this 3rd down play. It's 3rd down and 4. 32 seconds left. Everyone in Deeds Field, Piper Stadium, on the edge of their seats. And now the Big Red will use their 2nd timeout.
Still 32.3 seconds left. Still tied at 21. But the tension is palpable. You can feel it. You can cut it with a knife. It is so intense right now, right here. Denison has not beaten Wittenberg since 1989. They've lost 22 in a row. That streak could be coming to an end.
Coach Hayden said this might be a chess match, and, well, if the last few minutes are any indication, it certainly is. It was 14-7 Denison after the first quarter. Wittenberg put the first 7 points on the board of the second half. And then a touchdown apiece for each team, and that's where we are, knotted at 21. 3rd down and 4. Weimer in motion. Gabley looking for a hole. Got some space on the right side, now going to try to cut it back. And he ends up probably losing a yard, and Wittenberg will use their final timeout. So now, Conor Dunn with 24.6 left on the clock will come on and try to hit a game-winning field goal to give Denison their first win over the Wittenberg Tigers since 1989 and their first in their last 23 attempts.
There will be no icing of the kicker. This is Conor Dunn's one and only opportunity. But he should not be feeling too much pressure because this is only for the win. Denison cannot lose. The worst right now, the worst that happens is that this game goes to overtime and we get more football. This one will be a 32-yard attempt for Dunn.
Bryce Winans is the holder. 32-yard attempt for the lead. Conor Dunn, the kick is up. It is good! Conor Dunn has put it through the uprights. And Denison is 21 seconds away from a victory over Wittenberg. But Alex, it's not over yet.
No, but you would think it is right now. Everybody on the Denison side up on their feet, all the fans. The entire sideline amped. And Wittenberg holding their heads, holding their helmets over on their sideline. I don't think it could be quieter over on the other side of the field right now.
All right, Alex, let's talk a little trickeration. We said we hadn't seen much of it in the game, but we might see a couple of laterals. Maybe not on the kickoff return. They'll have time for a couple of plays. But Jake Kennedy's going to have to show off a little something extra in that arm. Or like we said, they're going to have to pull something out of the back of the playbook.
I mean, you might see a squib kick from Dunn possibly. He had one of those on the first kickoff of the game, but it'll be very interesting. Kennedy's longest completion here tonight is for 41 yards.
The first play from scrimmage, that was. Conor Dunn, fresh off kicking what could be the game-winning field goal, has lined up to kick it away. And they will squib it right up the middle. Fielded at about the 25. And at right about the 40, this play is going to come to an end. Jonathan C.A., the freshman linebacker, fielded that kick. And from about the 42 and 14.7 on the clock, Wittenberg is looking minimum to get themselves in a field goal range for Will Gingrey.
But they have to get out of bounds. They don't have any timeouts left, and that clock could keep running. Only 14.7 left.
Gingrey has 2 kicks of 50 yards or more on the season. So Wittenberg's looking to get to about, I'd say about the 35, maybe a little bit farther. And you're right, they need to get out of bounds. No timeouts.
Dennison just has to be careful of the big touchdown play. That's the only thing they do not want to give up right here.
Everyone on their feet on the Denison side of the stands. Kennedy looking to throw it out of bounds. It's picked off by Joel Lahua, and that will do it. Denison, for the first time since 1989, is going to beat the Wittenberg Tigers. The sideline is going absolutely nuts, and why shouldn't they?
This game cannot be understated as a historic moment for the Denison Big Red football program. With this win, they'll move to 6-0 for the first time since 1985. They will beat Wittenberg for the first time since 1989. 22 losses in a row, no more.
Kane and Gabley with the final kneel down. The final seconds tick off the clock, and that will do it. Denison defends their home turf, and they defeat the 15th ranked Wittenberg Tigers 24-21. What a game, Alex.
Back and forth, 2 evenly matched teams. Big win for Denison football and for head coach Jack Hayden.
A back and forth win, so gritty, so physical. It required a little bit of everything from each team. And finally, after missing a field goal and after 2 second-half turnovers by the Denison Big Red, Conor Dunn puts it through from 32 yards out.
Big Red, the Big Red now 6-0 on the season. They started 5-0 last year, only to get beaten by Wittenberg at Wittenberg. But this year, it is a different story. 6-0 now, Dennison. This is uncharted territory for the Big Red. This senior class, they have come there 4 years. They have been beaten by Wittenberg the last 3. Last year, a very tough one in Springfield, losing 45-14. But this year, they're going out on top, beating the Tigers. They're going to be the winningest senior class in at least 3 decades. And they have a win over Wittenberg to their resume.
Not only, Alex, will they have a win against Wittenberg, They might see the fruits of their labor in the national rankings come next week. As Denison received some votes last week, you've got to believe now that Denison will be ranked potentially even as high as the top 20 in next week's D3 football poll. A wild night here from Deeds Field. Back and forth for 60 minutes after an offensive show in the first quarter. Back and forth ever since. And like we said, it might just be who has the ball last to win this game. And essentially, that was the case. Denison gets the win. The team celebrates on the field. Alex, you got any final thoughts from this one?
I just think we got to give a lot of name recognition here for the Big Red because this was a big team victory. I mean, you got to look starting off with the offense. Kanan Gabley, 33 of 47. His arm's going to be sore tomorrow. 375 passing yards. Also ran for 81 yards. David Weimer, 9 catches for 154 yards, including 1 for 50. Then you also have Cody Farley, 9 carries for just 14 yards. They had a big catch, 2 touchdown rushes. Let's not forget C.J. Davis catching 1 for a touchdown. Charlie Mueller, 87 receiving yards, and that's only on offense. Joel Ahua, Ryan Zinkela, both of them with big interceptions in the fourth quarter to help seal the victory for the Big Red.
A total team effort on both sides of the ball. We've seen a lot of Kanan Gabley, a lot of David Weimer early on in the year. But when you face a great team like Wittenberg, everyone has got to get it done, and get it done they did. Final score from Deeds Field, everyone. Denison, for the first time since 1989, defeats Wittenberg by a score of 24-21. For my partner Alex Kaufman and our entire Denison Sports Network production crew, I'm Will Hibbert. You've been watching Denison football on the Denison Sports Network. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Saturday night. Hope everyone stays safe. And as always...
Yeah, don't party too hard after this one.
That's exactly right. And as always, folks, go Big Red.